Hey, everybody. Excuse me. I don't know what happened with the other stream, except I was trying to do something earlier and I must have canceled it on my own and did not realize that. So my apologies for that. Hey. Hi, niece. Bad girl. Sammy Soup, Susan Slick, Jelly, Stephanie, Carolyn, Steph G, Teresa, Valerie, Crazy Noops, Wims, Lamb Chop, Talk Time with Joy, with Jay Beautiful, Renee Davis. How's everybody? I did get a haircut. I did. I got it yesterday. Yesterday or the day before. I don't know. Towards the end of my work week, it's hello from Windsor, Ontario. What's the temperature there, my friend? Aloha. Hi, Annie. T Hill, Yavanna, Jelly, Wims, Trouble Puffs. Trouble Puff. This is one of my son. Thank you. Thank you very much, Seed of Sam. Seed of the Sun. Seed of Sam. Sorry about that. Susan Slick. Things are going quick. So yeah. So there's stuff that I do. I want to talk about some stuff. I want to talk about. Hey, everybody. Hi, Nikki. Country. One of my best friends, we call him Country, but I call him Mate. But everybody else calls him Country. But I call him Mate. Hey, Case, how you doing? I'd love to talk to you, Case. I would love that. Toddy1skip@gmail.com. I would love that. I caught your show last night. I thought you pretty much put everybody in their place on that when you were talking about how untruthful our friend Gypsy Ahoy is. Guys, those that don't know, Case. Yes, there we go. Hello, Case. I'm happy to bring Case up. Thank you so much. Drop the stream. Yeah, absolutely will do right now. I'm going to do it right now because what happened before was I don't know what happened before. So I got to go to invite, copy. I'm getting good at this, guys. And get out of here. And let's go. All right. So I don't even have Grammarly or the Grammarly. Is that what it is? But it's like always in the way. We need a Case and Toddy interview. Oh, okay. I'm all up for that stuff, guys. I would love to know better. And here he is. Come on board. Everybody, Case.
Hey, what is up, Toddy?
You look wonderful tonight. You don't change at all.
I don't. I aged like fine wine.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm good. Hey, I've always wanted to talk to you. This is cool.
Cool. I'm glad. Okay,
I want to say I love your hair.
Thank you so much. It is what it is. I have to embrace it. I love it too now. It took a while.
I really do. Like you have like, yeah, it's just like you can just do whatever with it. You have that whole, like, I love it. It's, I can't do that with my hair. It's, I don't know. I've never found the right haircut, Toddy.
Well, you know what it is? I'm serious. I honestly think that what it is that, you got to wear your hair. You know what I mean? Like you got to make it because it took me a long time because my hair goes in all different directions and I have
that's what I love about it though.
Yeah, but I had to embrace that. I had to love it, right? I mean, like, that's what it's about. It's about us loving what we love about ourselves or what we don't like about ourselves and how we turn it into something that we love about ourselves. I've embraced it. That's definitely part of who I am. And I take it on. And yeah, but it took a while,
Well, I think it also, as we get older, I mean, I'm 42. It just, as you get older, you become more, I guess, secure and set in your ways, and you just get to a point where you really just don't give a shit, and that's
Yeah,
what
I think that
works.
that's it. Yeah, I think it's that one. The one.
And I was wanting to, usually it's I was about to start responding to a lot of my comments from the video that I made yesterday, and I was at work earlier, but I'd seen a comment that I'd gotten from you, and you had asked about the beeps that I had put, and yes, I was talking about that person. And the thing is that I made that video, and then I thought I just had some hesitation. I was like, you know what? I don't know if I want to bring that level of crazy my way. So I
Right.
I bleeped it out, and I was like, well, if people will know if they know.
I think everybody's sick of her. Um,
Yeah.
and it's beyond that. It's not even she's in the way of what we're trying to do. And there's videos I'm gonna put out. I got a lot of this. I got so many things, guys. I have the contract between Fancy and Dawn. So when Fancy's screaming that she never worked for her, that
Mhm.
why is there's a contract. I just have gotten so much stuff. I'm off the next 2 days that I just want to put something together that is presentable and very easy for people to understand. I might end up doing a series of videos and take up each one, and that's
Yeah.
what I might do, because it is so disgusting and so despicable. I mean, she's in survival mode. You
It
know what I'm
seems that way.
saying? She's in survivor mode. So, I mean, she'll eat bodies at this point, I think. I'm just
Well, I don't follow her, and I obviously don't follow Bree because I'm blocked, as most people are. But
right.
I found it very, yeah, odd that those two teamed up. I Although I guess I shouldn't be surprised. As you said, she's in survival mode. But I mean, yeah, I don't get that. What is the point behind it? Do you think she's setting her up? Is she trying to get information from her? Or do you think, as I said in my video, do you think that she is trying to inch her way back into the good graces of those people?
Yeah, I think that she's going under and she's grabbing at anything that is going to help her, or she's falling. If those people that are rock climbers,
Mhm.
you're falling, and you just start grabbing at anything that's going to keep you alive for that second. And then you worry about the next second later. I think that I don't think that the Blanchards are going to let her back in. I'm
I wouldn't.
surprised that
Yeah.
Bree, I didn't see any of that. And when I tried to get on Bree's live, when after I heard that, I tried to get on there, and of course Boston was on it, and I called Boston out on her behavior, the way that
Mhm.
she went after that woman Jessica. Did you hear
Oh, I
that?
didn't see that. No, I don't know
It
anything
was
about
it was disgust. She threatened her. I mean, like
it.
they like it was. Yeah, I did a video on that, and but anyway, as soon as Boston saw me, she was like, "Do I still have the wrench?" And I said to myself, "She's gonna block me. I'm not doing anything. I'm just listening. I want firsthand information." I'm thinking, you guys say we bring up bullshit. I'm trying to get firsthand information here. I'm just listening,
Yeah.
and I pulled I accused Brie of not listening, and it's true. If you watch the video, she didn't listen. But
Well,
Boston was absolutely disgusting, just like Jamie said here, that she was absolutely. She talked to that woman. That woman didn't raise her voice one time. It was a woman named Jessica from the I want to say, but I could be speaking out because they didn't give her a chance to talk. I think she came from NPG, but I'm not
oh,
100% sure. And listen, I got questions about NPG that I want to put out here
same.
tonight,
Okay. Yeah, I
because
have questions too.
I want to know if they listen. The here's and I don't mean to interrupt, but I do want to get this out here. So they're asking for these letters to Nick's lawyer, and it's in the chat. Holly
Oh,
Jolly put it on my Facebook. Hang on 1 second, case. And they're
yeah.
asking for them to be received by February 1st. So Trixie Lane, who has so much information,
Mm-hmm.
just an amazing, I think she's an amazing content creator, to be honest. I love her. I love 1980, Renell Smith, all these, and all these underappreciated
Oh, Trixie's awesome.
content creators.
She's
And
been nothing but kind to me, and she puts out some good videos and does her research.
absolutely, and makes, very straight to the point videos, and a very easy wants to her. It's more important to her to get the information out there than for her voice to be heard. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
her ego is not in the way, which is, that's hard to
That's
find.
that's a problem with a lot of creators is,
Right.
yeah, once, as you said, which I probably can't say as eloquently as you have in the past, but in regards to the person that we were talking about, the name that I bleeped out, I believe you had said in the past it was something along the lines of, what was it, when your voice becomes,
Yeah,
uh
when your voice is louder than the message, you need to step away. You got to let the
yeah.
message be heard.
And sorry, not trying to interrupt your train of thought, but what I was going to also ask was, what I don't understand about that person teaming up with, Gypsy's bestie is, it doesn't make sense, obviously, but how would Gypsy feel about that? You know what I mean? Like how are you going to still trust? Like, I try to envision or look at it from everybody's point of view and come to my own conclusion, and I'm just like, how could Gypsy trust this person when she's now talking to a person that has been on a crusade for however many years since she switched sides, to just, completely trash you. It's weird. I don't get it.
Well, and who would believe her? I mean,
Yeah, credibility is shot.
Wouldn't you think? But see, I didn't see any of that. Did you see any of that live? Can you tell me what was said? Like, I couldn't find it. All I did was
Well,
hear that she did a
so
live with Brie.
so what I can attest to is that I was in the comment. I don't really do TikTok. I do have a TikTok channel.
Uh huh. Me
And I
too.
was I was but I don't really use it that much. But I was there when she was live, and now Bree has me blocked, but I guess I was able to hear her because Fancy had brought her up. So
Okay.
I guess that's how TikTok works. But I was just making, dude, I just make jokes. I was trolling, and I was just making some jokes in the comment section when she was talking to her. Like, the first thing I said was, Bree, is your water running? If so, you better go catch it.
Right.
And then I said, it was just a lame joke, and I was like, Bree, why did you steal Nina's catalytic converter? Which
I
was
heard
just
stuff like that.
which
Okay.
was it's just like an old joke that I've done for a long time. It was like a bit that I did,
Right.
and and then she went off on me, and she muted me. But yeah, she was pumping her up, and she was saying, that she's watched her evolve into becoming a better person.
Who
And
said that? Fancy said that to Brie.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
said that
Okay.
about Brie. Literally, actually, I don't even think that might have been in the live. That might have been a video that she posted the following day. But she did say, it's probably still on her channel. She said, I have watched her evolve, like, and become a better person. And I'm like, what are you what are you even talking about, man? Like, what do you know who you're talking about? This is a I try to be very careful. I don't try to, start stuff, but it's like, come on, man. This is somebody that is a serial doxer, has perpetuated, the worst lies and misinformation you can about a serious case, and is just obviously has some serious issues going on. And you're sitting here and telling me that, oh, now all of a sudden that you see them becoming a better person, and like, I don't know what's going on. Again, I'm blocked by Bree. Apparently, she made what, a farewell video saying that she's done with the drama. I don't know. You probably might know. I don't know.
No, I saw that video where she was real calm, cool, and collective after I think she felt outnumbered. And I I think she felt outnumbered because it was the day after Morbid had basically said, that that she's in the way, that she did nothing. And a lot of people agreed with that. Listen, she's had this case for a long time, and everybody's like either where she's already at or beyond where she was at, you know?
Well,
And
yeah.
but I think how could I'm still trying to understand, like, how would she, like, how would anybody believe her? Like, they might be playing with her. So how is are they supposed to what, do something together in the
That's
meantime?
what I'm hearing. So, and what is this about some Nick video that I don't understand what that's
Okay,
about?
so I'll tell you about that. So that's part of what I'm doing. So what's happened is there's been some stuff released, and then there's been people that have done some very, very, very deep dives, because the stuff that's been given to me, and I would give credit, but I don't want to give it unless I'm told that I could give it. You know what I'm
Oh yeah.
saying? So, but the stuff that was given to me, I just am. Listen, she is not trying to do anything good for Nick. She is just trying to do something for herself.
Yeah.
The first thing, if you remember, was it's going to be justice for Dee Dee. I
Hmm.
wanted Dee Dee's law. And then Morbid actually does something. Now, no
Mm,
longer justice for Dee Dee. Fuck justice for Dee Dee. Now
hmm.
I'm going to go to the Nick thing.
Hmm.
And but now what's happened was Bree got her hands on the same things, I guess, that I got my hands on.
Oh, okay.
So Bree has proof, because Fancy said, and you know who caught this? 1980 Millennial caught this.
I'm a little familiar. Yeah.
Right. Well, 1980 Millennial did a video. And guys, I don't know. I know that the thing, I don't look at the chat when I'm talking. So I'm
Same.
sorry, because I don't
Yeah.
want to lose my train of thought. So
Same.
if
It's hard.
there's something I need to see, guys, please put it all in caps, if you would, with some asterisks by it or something to make it seriously, because I don't want to get distracted. I don't like listening to those videos like that. So, um, anyway, so Bree, so in the Fancy's trying to get back in Bobby go to, or she's trying to get in Bobby go to John's
Okay.
good graces so that she can do something. So what came out was she asked Bobby go to John, and there is receipts that was 2 days ago or 3 days ago. It wasn't from, there was some stuff from 2019, but then there was text messages from just a couple days ago. So Fancy, who just did a video about that, that's why I think I should do these individually, to just fucking debunk everything,
Right.
just one at a time. So, but anyway, excuse me, she's trying to get the life rights Bobby go to John, for Nick go to John.
Oh, good.
Okay. The
Lord.
same thing she did with Gypsy.
And she won't be able to do anything with it, just like
She
she did
doesn't,
Gypsy.
because she has no follow through. She has absolutely no follow through. And so Bree, so in the meantime, she's trying to tell Bobby, "Oh, listen, I was on your son's side. I made a mistake, but I've been doing right and all this stuff." And she's trying to detach herself from this woman named Dawn, who was working for her to
Okay.
get stuff out of Nick, because she was pretending to be Nick's girlfriend, and or was already Nick's girlfriend, and she was able to manipulate this girl. There's a contract. And
Hmm.
she says that she didn't do anything like that. Fancy said that. And then there's receipts between the two of them. So Fancy's full of shit. And Brie must have some of this information. And all Fancy wanted to do was try to get ahead of it.
Okay.
So that's how that came about. And 1980 Millennial caught the body language
Hmm.
in the video that Fancy was saying that Brie, and she was messing with their hair. And, there's a lot of the stuff I listen to, I don't watch, because I just got so much going
It's a
on.
lot. Yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
when she said it, I went back and watched that video, and I was like, "Oh yeah, like absolutely, it is. It's right there." So, yeah, it was pretty clear about it, especially after the information that I knew. Oh, she's got this shit. Okay,
Hmm.
well, that I don't care who exposes. We can all expose Fancy. I don't care. Just get her out of the way. And listen,
Well,
I don't
yeah.
know what Bree, I've heard from people that Bree thinks that no, it's not that. Who there is somebody on Gypsy's side that thinks that Nick should have a fair trial, or he
He
wasn't
deserves a
treated.
resentencing
Yes,
hearing.
yeah, absolutely. He definitely deserves a reconsideration. I totally, you know, all that poor guy did from the start was get on a dating app, a
Yeah.
Christian dating app. And for 2 years, he was manipulated. And then he goes in for a crime that I don't know if he did or didn't do, but he thinks he did. And I think it was really a setup. I don't think he was supposed to leave that house. I think he was supposed to leave like Dee Dee. And I think that he was supposed to it was supposed to look like a bad home invasion, and Gypsy was just not supposed to ever be found. And I think she was supposed to go off with somebody else, and that somebody else said, I ain't doing this shit. This is too real for me. That's what I think happened. Because there
No,
was
and I appreciate that. I've heard you and other, I think even Trixie, talk about these possible theories. I haven't really gone down that part of the rabbit hole as of yet to explore those options.
oh, you'll get there.
You know, I I take issue. I just got done listening to most of Raina's interview with Morbid last night,
Mhm.
and well, actually, before we get to that, can we? I think we probably both agree that there is a baby at this point. Or do you? Or do you? Are you still on the fence?
I think that no. I think that there's a baby, but I think that the baby was born earlier than
Oh
they're
yeah,
saying.
I
I think the baby it was probably born in late November, maybe. That's what I think. That's
I tend because yeah, that's I mean the way she looked at the book signing and yeah,
well, Renelle Smith just put out a video. So check that out
I
if you get a
will. I'm
chance.
subscribed to her. I'll check
Yeah,
it out.
she's amazing. She's amazing.
Is
I
she the
call
person
her
that
the
makes the
moral
Katie Joy
compass.
videos?
She is like the moral compass of social media. What's that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Is she the person that makes the Katie Joy videos, or am I thinking of
She
somebody else?
does. No,
Okay.
she does, but she also has she exposes. So I don't think I mean she happens to be on Katie Joy, but she has exposed Fancy and Gypsy Rose.
Yeah,
She's
yeah, yeah. No, I've seen those. Yeah, I've seen
yeah,
those videos too. She has the
yeah.
accent, right?
She has a beautiful accent. She can tell
Okay.
you to fuck off, and you tell her where should I go to do that? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? She
No,
always
yeah.
sounds so eloquent. And yeah, she's very she's a very good woman. Very good
Well,
woman.
it's just my thing with those types of creators is that I mean, these are people that were involved and had all of the information right there in front of their face for years, yet chose to follow a different narrative because it benefited them the most financially. Yet when the rug was pulled out from under them, then they go to this other narrative, and it's just fake. It's not real. And the problem too that I have with people like the GWN network or whatever is that they go on these podcasts. What was that podcast that did the Gypsy thing recently, the big podcast? I forget
The
the name of.
Vile Files.
No, it was they did like a series on Gypsy. It was this long series on the Gypsy case, and they brought her on. They brought Fancy on,
Oh,
and
that was a while ago. Was it a while
it
ago?
was like, what was this, like 2-3 months ago? I'm sure maybe somebody in the comments knows. It's a very popular true crime.
Not
Like,
Natasha
no, no,
Cooper.
no, 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 no. This is somebody that they just do different true crime cases, and like they're very
Crime
popular.
Weekly. Crime
That's
Weekly.
it. Yes,
Okay,
Crime
Crime
Weekly.
Weekly. Thank
That's
you,
it.
A. Donald. Thank you, A.
Yes, thank
Donald.
you. And
And
they
thank you.
brought.
Into the Weeds podcast is on, guys. Into the Weeds podcast. I'm
Oh, I
going to
love
be
Into
with
the
her
Weeds podcast.
tomorrow
It's really
night.
cool.
I'm going to be
And
with
but
her
yeah,
tomorrow night.
they brought her on and they had her a part of the show. And then they basically had to do like a whole, like they had to tell their audience in the next episode that they shouldn't have brought her on because they hadn't looked into her background, and they didn't know that she had worked for the Blanchards, and they didn't know that she had this history of other, you know what I mean? And
Right, right,
it was
right.
it's a disservice. It does a disservice to this community that I care about that wants to get the truth out. And so it's just like I think you know, as you and other people have said, I mean, Fancy has done some good things. She has brought some good things front, you know, and for people to see. But it just gets so convoluted and messy with her approach, and her personality just does. It's just hard. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard
It's
to
hard to
stay
watch.
loyal or faithful.
It's very, very hard to watch. I dropped the link for anybody that wants to come up, have any questions for Case or me, or can join it in the conversation. We have content creators in the, it doesn't have to just be content creators, but all I ask is that we're respectful, even if we disagree, fine with that. You know, so I dropped the comments. Anybody that wants to grab on, just that's all I ask. So I again, I think that the baby's Ryan's. I think she has something
Oh, you
on
do.
Ryan.
You do think
Yeah,
it's Ryan's.
I do, and I think she has something on Ryan that
That I would believe. That I do believe.
yeah.
Um,
And that's why I think Ryan has been so quiet as well. And can only say so much because he also knows things about Gypsy. You know what I'm saying? Like he could talk. Listen, it's so there's a few things that I have an issue with. And we have Rosard. I've never heard of you, Rosard. Is that Rose Red? Rose Red, is that how you say it? Okay. Well, I'll bring you on. But I just want to finish my train of thought. So give me 1 second. So which I just lost my train of thought.
I feel you. It's hard.
I hate when that happens. I hate when
Oh,
that
yeah.
happens.
Especially when you're on live. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate
Well,
when
you were
that.
talking about the baby Ryan's.
Yeah, so I think so. Here it is. Thank you so much. And it's not even about that. I think that when you co-sign somebody's here's the thing that I didn't ever realize that you caught before I caught, obviously, is that I really trusted at this point, earlier on, I trusted Fancy at her word when she had said that she had found information out that went against her grain. I don't believe that anymore. I do believe what the consensus says in the fact that no, she got booted out because she didn't do her work. And that I believe that makes even more sense.
Yeah.
And then she turned on the Blanchards because see, that's her pattern. Number one, that's her pattern. As far as the baby, and here's the other thing. I have no doubt in my mind that Ken, Ryan, Rod, everybody in Gypsy's little universe has found Gypsy in lies and has caught Gypsy in bad behavior. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
Ken knows at this point who he's stuck with. You know what I mean? Who he's stuck with. And yeah, that's what I think. That's what I
I
think.
appreciate that. I do. And like, you know, listen, one of my previous videos from like maybe 2 weeks ago, I was talking about the fact, why did Lifetime put in their trailer for this upcoming season an already supposedly publicly proven thing that Ken was the father? Why did they put the paternity test in the trailer for something that is allegedly all like everybody already knows? So I didn't understand that. And I said in my video, I was like, I was thinking about that. And I was like, well, maybe is there an alternate ending to this that Ryan is the father? I don't know. I don't know. But I just found it weird that Lifetime put in the trailer the paternity test and left it as this cliffhanger when what the hell? Like,
Well, I think that's definitely just to get people to watch. I'm gonna bring up
people that
Rose
don't know.
Red. that's what I think it is. I
Maybe.
think he
Yeah.
was honest when he said, he does things and says things that 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 Lifetime makes him do, and that I think that there's a lot of cutting and stuff to make things more dramatic. But I honestly think that I think Gypsy was pregnant. I think it's Ryan's, but I think that she had him convinced so many times, I'm on birth control, I can't have a
Mm-hmm.
kid, because
Mm-hmm.
there's so much bullshit. You just don't know what to believe or
No,
anything.
you don't. And also the one thing I keep going back to. Well, there's a couple things I keep going back to. One is, Ryan talking about, well, she sent me photos of positive pregnancy tests, but then she said, well, oh, it was a false positive, which we all know is very unlike. It's not a problem. It's not a common thing that happens. You're more likely to get a false negative than a false
Right.
positive.
Right.
And then I always keep going back to that one live that Rod did, which he was obviously coaxed into by Christy or Gypsy to defend her. That infamous, well, no, actually, no, this wasn't. I think I don't know if this was a live or a video he did, but he said he was like, "Well, I think Gypsy's still pregnant." I'm like, I still think back to that. I'm like, what was that about? You think she's still pregnant?
Right. Yeah. No, yeah, there's too much with that. How are you, Rose Red?
I'm great, and how are you?
I'm good. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I
Well,
have a small channel that I just started about 2 months ago. It's
okay,
all
great.
about, yeah, it's all about Gypsy Rose and all that. But now my
Good.
side of the fence is I don't think she has a baby.
Hmm. There's a lot of
Okay.
people that
Now,
feel that way.
a lot of people are saying, well, okay, how can that many people hide the fact that she doesn't have a baby?
Yeah, I say that.
But money speaks, right? And
Yeah, but it's Lifetime. I don't
according
know.
to a lot of my viewers, and they agree with me on this. So, I mean, I do have a little following, but it's getting bigger as the days go by.
Sure.
I mean, and they're all on the fence with me. So I don't know. Like, I would like to hear you guys' take on that.
I
I-
think it's. I'm sorry, Toddy. Go ahead.
No, no, no. You go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no. I'm just gonna say just to echo off of what she just said. I don't at this point. I kind of became convinced after listening to Ken, and then especially after listening to Raina last night. It was just. I may have mentioned this earlier, so I don't mean to repeat myself, but like nicknames that she came up with, like she's calling the baby Aurorable. Like, so either Raina is a pathological liar with a diabolical mind, or they are just very, or there is a baby. Like, I just, there's too many
Um,
small details I don't think that they could fake. And
uh,
also, what is the point? What is the motive
how
at
did
this?
they make it in and out of the hospital without being seen?
These are questions that like Ivory Rose knows. Ivory Rose knows. I'm
Mm-hmm.
is asking as well. I'm gonna put Ivory Rose knows. If you'd like to come up here, that'd be great, because I've never spoken to you and I watch your stuff. So let me put the invite on. Continue on, guys, please.
Um, but yeah, well, in regards to how have they not been seen, I mean, it's the baby's only 4 weeks old, and
Right, but she called TMZ to come and see her sign her divorce papers, and Ryan didn't even show up.
allegedly,
And
allegedly.
Ryan didn't even show up, but she wouldn't call them to come and see her come out of the hospital, even if it's just with a baby carrier covered up.
I think Ryan didn't show up. My 2 cents on that is now
Mm.
that we saw those leaked messages from the quote unquote hacker, which I don't know. I don't know if I believe that there was
He said
I don't know
himself
about
that
that,
he didn't
but
show up, so I don't know.
she had asked him to have what coffee with her or something after the divorce, and she was saying that she just wanted that she's learned a lot, what whatever it was that she says. But you could like, if you're a guy, I'm just putting myself in Ryan's position. If you're in Ryan's position, you're somebody that is still pining away for Gypsy, and you know that that conversation is going to be about her trying to relieve some of her guilt and make her feel better about herself, and it's not going to be about, oh, I still love you or I still have feelings for you. that's why he didn't show up. He didn't want to hear it. He wants to still believe and live in this fairy tale world that they're going to get back together. That's just
And then yet there is this text message saying that he loves her still, and he still, would take her back in a heartbeat, I
he
think.
would. And but she still uses him and plays on his emotions. We know that.
So this is so tangled.
It is. It's messy.
It is very messy.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello.
Welcome, Ivory Rose Nose. How are you tonight?
I'm good. Thank you. I appreciate you letting me up here.
Of course, of course.
So I heard you talking about whether or not the baby is real. Now, Rose Red, I agreed with you in the beginning. I really thought that, she lies so much and I wouldn't put it past her to be faking the whole pregnancy thing. Although now I believe there's a baby. But Toddy, I agree with you. That baby was not born in December. That baby was definitely born, in my opinion, in November when she supposedly went to Florida, but has no actual pictures with any family members or anything like that. That's when I think that baby was born. Tell me how she got to a hospital. This baby is supposedly going to the doctor weekly. No one, not a neighbor, nobody has a picture of this baby. And I think they're hiding the baby. I think they're living with Ken out in who knows where. And the baby is definitely older than they're saying. My opinion.
Yeah, I think that the baby. Do you think it's Ryan's baby or do you think it's Ken's baby?
I think it's Ken's baby. I
Okay.
think that she was sleeping with Ken the whole time.
I think they hooked up sooner than, that's my opinion. I think it's Ken's baby, and I think they were hooking up probably sooner. And that, they potentially had the baby back in November.
So but you don't think that she was also sleeping with Ryan?
I'm sorry, is that for me?
Anybody? I mean, you think she was just being faithful to Ken? I mean, I don't care whose baby. I'll be honest.
I don't either. That's the
I don't
thing.
care whose
Yeah.
baby it is.
That's the thing.
Doesn't really matter.
But the fact that, we all know that she started seeing him in late February because that came out from the Life After Lockup, the little clip that came out where she's on the phone with Ken and they're doing like a FaceTime and she says, "Oh, guess what Ryan found out? That I've been talking to you since it was February, right?"
Yeah.
So
I don't think that Ryan and her were intimate very much. And you can kind of see that if you watch the show, because he was kind of calling what we all saw after the fact. She's changing her looks. He was started getting paranoid. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can see the disconnect. And I think
right.
that we're not intimate.
And if I can interject real quick, I just want to say, I know a lot of people think that I give Ryan a hard time. Yes, I'm not a fan of him. I'm not a fan of Ken. I'm not a fan of any of those people. But those recent, God, who was it the emails that were leaked by, I want to say, was it Nadatha Walker, where Gypsy had said to somebody, I mean, the writing was on the wall with their marriage. Like Gypsy had already told Ryan way before she had even been released that, she had made a mistake and that his family was mad at her and she was worried about how she was going to be portrayed on TV because she didn't want to be with him. So I forget where I was going with that, but I mean, it was just
About them being intimate. Well, I thought, I got to tell you that I put out a video that I said I wasn't even sure that they consummated their marriage. So, and I meant that at the time. The problem is, if the baby is his, who fucking cares when it was born?
Right.
That the big thing is why are they hiding the date? That's the problem.
I think, Toddy, that, and I said this in my video last night, and I could be wrong, but it's just, I'm like the rest of you guys. I'm grasping at straws to try to understand why a lot of these things are happening. And when I say that, I mean all of these little trivial BS things that are coming out, and it's just like, why are we focusing on that? Well, it's because they're having us focus on that versus the truth. And the truth is that Gypsy Rose, got off for murder with
Right.
a fake offense that never went to trial. And
Mm.
she's out here living the perks of a celebrity,
Right.
which she has no business doing. And that's kind of been the goal, at least of my channel, is to, especially since the whole micro deletion thing came out, and then we've just had more confirmation come out from Gypsy's own words, via the messages that she sent her former neighbor, about admitting to her chromosome deletion disorder and hence all of her medical issues. And it just blows her entire story out of the water. So I feel like a lot, it's kind of like, which is why Gypsy is, posting all these little snarky like these comments to people, or making these little Instagram stories trying to one up people so she can feel as though she's vindicated on this or that and that. And it's like, fine, yeah, you may be right about this or that, or some of these little small speculations or misconceptions that are out there about you, but you're never going to change the truth, the greater truth, which is that you murdered your mother. You plotted for 2 years. You're diabolical. You're evil. Like
Yeah.
that's it. So
Yes.
all these little
I
small
think she
things,
was born evil. Yeah.
I'm
I
right
truly
there
think,
with you. I think she was born evil too. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
She has said that, she plotted all that. And I mean, she has said that. I know that she has no feelings towards that. I know that she might as well have said, yeah, I just read a book. I mean, you know what I'm saying? She has
Mhm.
said, she has, I don't even want to say it this way, but for lack of, I just don't know it. She has said, I don't want to say she has taken responsibility, because she hasn't, but
No.
she has said publicly that I masterminded, more or less, the unaliving of my mom. That she said that, and she had
She
Nick
has.
do it, and she said that. What she hasn't said is why. What's the
Yeah.
real truth? Why? Why did you do it? What was the plan there? What happened there? And how could you do it so brutally with everything she had?
So good.
You could have. Why did it have to be so friggin' brutal?
Yeah.
Well, the way too that she said, "Oh, it was Nick that did the actual kill,
Yeah.
Yes,
not
no, I
me."
know. Right, right,
That's
right.
what
Yeah,
got me right there.
Right.
That's when I thought, you know what, this chick is evil, evil.
Hmm. Well,
She disassociated herself from the actual act.
hmm that's what it is. It's disassociation.
Yeah.
And, but for me, and I don't know why this isn't talked about more, but then again, I mean, I work, I have a 5-year-old, I'm busy.
right.
I don't see everything, but maybe I'm wrong about saying this, but I feel that it's not talked about enough. Her changing her account or her story of Nicholas allegedly SAing her. You don't change your story on something, an accusation on something that severe about somebody. Like, you said it first in your interrogation when you realized things were not going your way. And you threw that in there to just add an extra layer of making you look like the victim that you always have to be. But then when you went to his trial and under deposition, you said, no, I was not essayed by him. It was all role play. It was all fantasy. But then you now come out with a book and you are saying that, no, he did do it. That's just sick. It's evil.
Yeah.
Well, I agree with you. I did hear on the video that you put out last night that Lifetime, and I thought, yeah, like Lifetime, or you called a bunch of channels out and said that the mainstream channels, that they needed to do some more research on what they're putting out there, right? Didn't you say something to
I
the
did.
effect of that?
Oh,
And
yeah. I was like, heaven forbid they do any research. And
and,
yeah.
and that's 100%. Like, I don't understand the account, and the fact Disney, how could Disney like associate themselves with this? How
Toddy, have you seen? I just saw this a minute ago and read it. Did you see that Gypsy has reached out and sold a story to E News or People Magazine, about her, the Instagram post that she made about CPS not being involved? She's now sold that story to like People and E News, and they're reporting on it.
that CPS is not involved? Why is that a
Right. Yeah. And
story?
she's saying that you know, and she said in her interview that her postpartum bod is due to her doing yoga and being an active mom. And I mean,
I
yeah, it's
don't
just
understand
She's
why
a
people.
new mom who has time to do yoga.
That's what I'm. There's
Gypsy
so
ain't
much,
doing no
right?
damn yoga.
There's she is so much. She's so much more worried about, and that body. I'm sorry, I don't think she has a great body, but that body wasn't 5 days old of giving birth. You know, I mean, come on.
Absolutely not.
And
No.
I mean, I'm a gay woman. I've never had children. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I have common sense. I'm sorry.
I've had 10,
Gypsy don't
and
know
can
how to
I
do no
tell you?
downward dog. She knows how to maybe do an onward dog by opening the fence for Parker to get loose, but she ain't doing no downward dog. Give me a break.
No, and that
Oh,
belly,
my
your uterus takes months to shrink back. You didn't have your uterus wasn't sticking out. All of us who had babies know that we, for a while, looked pregnant still after we
Yeah.
gave birth. It's just, your body, your uterus doesn't. There's no way, in my
Well, I
opinion.
bounced back really fast from my first one. I walked out of the hospital in the same jeans I wore before I got pregnant,
Oh
but
wow.
my stomach still looked like cottage cheese.
Yep.
You know, that's the
Yep.
way it is. It doesn't look
Absolutely.
perfectly smooth like that.
Yeah. It took a good year for me to lose my baby weight back. And I was
Right?
actively working out and eating right. Mm-mm.
Well, she was
And
very.
look
I
at
mean,
her
yeah,
face.
yeah. She was very tiny,
Her
obviously.
face in the hospital picture, and then her face in that, My Body's Great video. You don't lose that baby weight in your face. You lose the tummy weight, but your face didn't shrink in a week. Like, come
Right.
on.
No.
Ivory
And her
Rose, I
boobs,
haven't talked
too.
to you. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say Ivory Rose, because I don't know when I'll talk to you again. I don't think I've talked to you since the hacker incident, so I just wanted to apologize to you for my little back and forth with that dude. Check the star. We have history, so sorry if I caught you off guard with that.
You don't have to apologize. I didn't know who he was from Adam, so I'm
He's a
glad you came in
degenerate.
there
Yeah,
because now I know.
he's horrible.
Well, I think that that's what explains. I think that that's what explains. I think she was wearing, a fake belly, but I think it was to make us believe she was more pregnant than she actually was, or less pregnant than she actually. However, it was, she wanted to spin it. That's why I think her stomach looks so different and so unreal and unnatural, because she was actually doing that. I think she had already given birth, obviously, after before the book signing.
Mm-hmm.
And but again, the question remains, why is that so important if the dad is Ken? Why is that so important if the dad is Ken?
I wanted to point out one thing that somebody commented on my community post recently that I hadn't thought of. When talking about this fake belly, Toddy, and they mentioned maybe she was wearing a fake belly at certain points when Lifetime was filming, because they were filming things potentially out of sequence. So that's just one thought. I kind of lean more to her wearing a prosthetic belly because she was insecure about not having a big.
I agree with you right there.
Yeah.
I think it was, I need the attention to be pregnant. Most pregnant women have big bellies. Look at me, I'm beautiful and pregnant, and she just didn't have the belly.
Yeah.
See, my thought is that she could have had that baby a lot earlier than what we're thinking, maybe real preemie, and then she wore the bump just to kind of carry on the facade that she was still pregnant.
Yeah,
I think she had that baby early.
I do too.
She says.
But
Yeah,
I
I
think
I'm
Ryan's
just
the
hoping
dad.
there is a baby.
Well, also this is something else that I feel is not talked about enough, is in the fact that Gypsy announced her birth on New Year's Day when allegedly her child was born on the 28th.
right.
Why did she do that? Well, because she knew that it would get more attention. And I find that kind of disgusting. I just do. Why do you just announce the birth of your child? Why do you have to pretend like it's born on New Year's Day, which is what she was kind of misleading people about?
Right.
I think that she was wanting to be the first birth of 2025. And there's
Mm-hmm.
normally a lot of prizes that come along with that.
Mm-hmm.
Monetary prizes.
Yeah, but you have to prove it. They want
But
proof for those
They can't prove
prizes.
it, or we can't find proof because birth records are
Exactly.
not accessible.
Exactly.
How convenient that each
I
state
know.
this woman does something in, like we can't
I-
find it from it. How convenient- I mean, like, how
I'm in Canada, so I don't know.
there's only so many states that do this in, and
Yeah.
it's because of the French law that they don't show the birth certificate. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, that's true.
how convenient.
Do you all think that she had the baby in Louisiana?
God, I don't know where she had the baby.
She had to have had
They
it
could
in
have had it at home.
Louisiana
I
if
don't
we
know where
can't
she had
find
the
birth
baby.
certificate.
There's no way she's known for being who she is in Louisiana. That known, and you went into a hospital, gave birth, and you came out. And listen, as a nurse, I would love to say that nurses and orderlies aren't taking pictures, but let's be real, people are human. They do. And nobody got a picture of that baby out, knowing who you were in the state. Come on.
I know, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Let's just be
everybody,
real. It's
everybody's
Gypsy Rose that we're talking about, you guys. She's
Yeah,
not
man.
gonna hide. She's gonna release that baby immediately.
Yep.
She wants it. She's got to be ashamed of something. There's
Yeah.
something going on.
Hiding something.
Uh-huh.
I kind of wanted to get on here and address something, or just kind of give information about it.
And
if
this
you
is
guys don't
Marissa?
mind. Yes,
This is-
ma'am.
Okay, Marissa. So you please, yeah, go just explain, because I saw what you were saying about Meghan Markle and stuff. I'm gonna get something to drink, just some waters. Please explain, Marissa.
Oh, Meghan Markle. I don't know. I don't. That might not mean me. There's
No,
a
no,
couple
no, no, no.
Marissas in
Didn't
the
you put
chat.
something up here about that you did a deep dive into? Wasn't that what I read about
That
you?
that could have been Marissa Monroe. You have another one in your chat.
Oh, okay. So I'm okay, but go ahead. Marissa.
I just kind of wanted to talk about what Becca was touching about on Morbid's live the other night, the entire high risk thing. I'm an epileptic, and obviously I've had a child. So I feel like this really kind of needs exposed in sort of a light, as Gypsy I think she once said she was high risk on Bree's life. But after that, she never really touched on it. She acted like she had a normal pregnancy, no protocols, anything of that sort. Well, I don't have a 1Q 2.1, whatever, specific the name is. Nina can do that. But I had a very, very strict birth plan, pregnancy and birth plan, down to where if I had Braxton Hicks, I was admitted for a minimum of 6 hours. And Ken was just, he wouldn't, she had a planned induction date, correct? That's what Ken said. And they are not going to give you a pre-induction date unless there's a medical reason.
Mhm.
And Ken just kind of would avoid it every time Becca asked, what was the medical condition? What was this? Well,
I think Rain. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry. You can go ahead.
No, I think Raina touched on that. I don't know if you heard that last night. And I haven't finished listening to it, but I do think that she touched on the whole induction thing. And I think from what I heard, she was saying that she had gone in for one checkup and she was like 1 centimeter dilated. And then she went in for another one. She was like 2 centimeter dilated.
So I'm gonna interrupt you both.
Yeah.
only
please do.
because Becca Scoops put out a video about just what you guys are talking about.
Yes, today.
Just today, and she was walking her dog, so all you do is see the silhouette of Becca, but you see Maisie, which more important, no offense,
Right.
Becca, but we want to see Maisie. Anyway, she put out a whole video. It was maybe 16 minutes, and she explained exactly the whole thing. So Marissa, did you see that?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
and I
okay.
commented on it.
Okay. So you've already seen that. So please continue on
Yes.
then. Okay.
Well, here's where I started asking questions. I'll rewind this whole thing. When I saw the photo on January 1st, or that's when I saw it, there was something very particular missing from that photo.
The photo of Gypsy holding the baby in the hospital?
Yes.
Okay.
could we all agree that regardless of what Gypsy claims in her medical records, that epilepsy is in there?
Yeah, she said she says there was a million things. So yeah, throw anything you want to say. She
Yes.
probably said.
Oh, well, hospital protocol, when you have a history of epilepsy, regardless of how long ago your last episode was, they put these huge, thick pads on both sides of the railings of the hospital bed because the constant change of your hormones after birth and the stress on your body during labor can set even non-epileptics into seizures. So they put those pads on the sides, for precaution so you do not hurt yourself. And that picture looked like it would have been not a full 24 hours after the baby had been born. So those pads should have been there. And they weren't. So that's where I started questioning certain things like, is the hospital making exceptions? Which I don't feel they would, because if something would have happened, she could sue them. That's where my questioning started on all of this. And then when her story, the high risk being denied and things like that, I know for a fact at 32 weeks, I had to start going every other day to see my OB, to have stress tests done on the baby, to have my cervix checked, because they absolutely did not want me to go into labor and not 1 minute of it be monitored. So, I mean, I'm not saying there's a baby, there's no baby. I'm just saying there's a lot missing in their birth story. And you think she'd want to cash in on it and get some sympathy, like, oh, it was hard and things like that.
Well, that picture was deemed to be photoshopped, wasn't it?
I saw that. Did anybody else? Did you see that case? Did you see how somebody scrutinized that photo and there was a line on her neck that showed something that shouldn't have been there?
On the birth photo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
There was no ID pole. She had an ID in her hand, but there was no pole.
Yeah, there was a bunch of stuff.
Oh, that. I think I saw somebody talking about that there was no pole, and then I actually went back and looked at it, but I thought that
the bed's almost in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
But there was also like some sort of line, like where somebody went in and I mean, they zoomed in and you could like see that there was a line that didn't match like the color of this. There was something off there.
Alice down the rabbit hole. Was that who it was?
Yeah, that's who it was.
Okay.
Alice down the rabbit hole. I like their channel, and they're definitely on team no baby. I actually
she's on my team
with it today because I basically said that I at this point believe that there is a baby, and they came in with some theories as to why they didn't believe there was one, which I kind of feel that there was an explanation for each one. Like they said that Ken, Raina, and Gypsy have all given different color eyes of the baby, but as we all know, a baby's eyes are not going to be set. It takes like the iris color is still going to be developing.
They're all born with blue eyes.
Yeah, I know. And then they were talking about the fact that Raina had said on Ken's live about Raina felt bad about making broccoli for Gypsy, and she was saying, well, why would you feel bad? She's like, well, because you shouldn't feed a nursing mother broccoli because it can make the baby gassy. And people were like, well, I thought she wasn't formula feeding, so what does that matter? Well, she was there the first week when the baby was born, while Gypsy was still attempting to nurse. So I don't know. I just don't think it's that deep. I really don't.
Oh, Alice is in chat.
No, I love them and their channel. It's just I feel like those points you can find an excuse for those things. And as I've said, hey, if the baby's fake and it comes out, well, good luck walking down the street for the rest of your lives, Blanchards and Urquharts, because you're going to be the laughing stock of the world that pulled off a fake baby hoax. And I don't understand
why would they pull off a fake? What is the purpose of saying that I'm having a baby and not actually having one? Like,
what is the purpose of all these lies, though?
Well, trying to get away with murder, that's a big one.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Right?
The dialogue. of
I
how
just think
people perceive me. I understand that there's motive in that, but I have a question that I'm confused about. So now I hear my family in my head. Toddy, you're always confused. So my question is, she has said that the picture of her in the white dress was taken before she knew she was pregnant, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
And yet she's holding a baby thing, and he's holding her belly, and she's a little pregnant looking in the picture. Make that make sense. Before she finds out she's pregnant, she's taking a picture showing she's
I
pregnant.
thought that was
Yeah.
at the baby shower.
She looked more pregnant there than she did
She did.
at
Wasn't
the
that the
book
baby
signing
shower?
in court.
did.
And what about, and also,
But what if she never got pregnant? That's the point. That's what I'm saying. Like, how do they take a picture saying that she's pregnant before she's ever pregnant? And they don't know that she could even get pregnant. Didn't that happen though?
well, let me
What?
ask another question in regards to, so at the baby shower, and I'm sure you guys have all seen this. It was a TikTok creator that put out this video. I shared it on my YouTube.
Yes.
The whole pole, the whole beam, the whole thing was
Well,
that photo of her postpartum video that she put out recently. Was that at the same location that her baby shower was at, or was it at Rod Christie's house? Because I've
well,
heard people say that they have a similar thing.
yes. Have you looked at the photo dump on Instagram?
No, by who? I'm blocked by Gypsy, so
I don't know exactly who posted it. Someone posted it in their community, but the house that they were at for, I think it would have been Christmas, in the dining room where there was like people were pointing out there was alcohol at the table. There
oh,
was
well,
a
that was
hole
many
there,
of those. Yeah.
and it matched up pretty well.
Oh, really? Or the beam does?
Yeah, the poll does. I saw
Okay.
that. I saw
Okay.
that bit.
Okay.
Yeah, but again, somebody help me. What am I missing about? Please, seriously, like I really want to know what I'm missing about. Did they took a she's in the park. She says it was the weekend of Jazz Fest. He's around her. They are announcing that they're pregnant, but she's not pregnant yet. Isn't that what happened?
If
Yeah,
she was
it
pregnant,
seems
it would
like
have been
they
Ryan's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
she
were together for Jazz Fest. That was the weekend. And then not long after, the same dress, the same area, they're posting that they're pregnant, but you couldn't be pregnant if Jazz Fest didn't yet happen.
And I think she was mad about time or a lifetime making it seem that as though she was, that's what Gypsy says, that she was pregnant when she wasn't. But yeah, it looked like she was. I
Well,
don't
some
know.
people too said she was pregnant and lost it and then got re-pregnant.
mm.
A lot of people are saying that as well.
I don't know. That was really weird, though. I
Trixie's
mean,
right, though.
what if she
Sorry.
couldn't get pregnant?
Yeah.
And she's announcing she's pregnant. That's the weirdest thing. Why isn't somebody making a big deal about that?
Didn't she tell Ken she was on birth control?
And
But
she
Yep.
also
didn't we
told
see in the
everybody she couldn't, that it would be hard for her to be pregnant because of all of her surgeries.
well,
There's
didn't
She
she
could
get
do
her
IVF though.
fertility checked
Yeah.
Yeah.
on Lifetime? So if she was getting her fertility checked, that doctor would not, recommend birth control. They would actually recommend the opposite.
Mhm.
So if Ken saw her taking a pill every day, honey, that was for fertility treatment.
Mhm.
But she could have had eggs extracted at the same time to have them tested for the deletion
Mm.
and then
Did
replanted. You know what I mean?
You know what I think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna create a fake Brad Pitt social media page, and I'm gonna like send a friend request to like somebody that works at that hospital.
Yeah,
Put
yeah,
get the
do it.
records, dude.
If you want the truth, you need to create a fake Taylor Swift one and
There you
send it
Yeah,
go.
to
there you
There you
everybody.
go. There you go. That's very
That'd be
good.
funny. Well, listen,
Mm.
guys, I gotta hop off. It was fun, and Toddy, I've always wanted to talk to you.
You too. Thanks for jumping on. Thank you. That was a nice surprise. It was a pleasure, and I hope to do stuff with you in the future.
Absolutely. All right, guys, thanks. Have a
Nice
have a
to
great
meet ya.
show, and I'll
Yeah,
talk to you
see you
soon.
big fan, Case. Nice to
Bye.
talk
Oh,
to you.
thank you. All
Okay.
right, bye, guys.
Yeah. So, does anybody you want to continue on with this? Does anybody want to talk? I do want to talk about the Justice for Nick movement, because we only have so many days to get those letters out. Now,
Right.
I don't think that I'm not saying that Nick, let me explain what I think Justice for Nick looks like. And to me, it I don't say open up the door and let him run the streets. First of all, that's not my decision. I'm not a judge. I'm not a counselor. I've never really spoken to Nick. We've exchanged very short emails that were practically sterile on his part. So, but I would like for him to get reconsidered, with his mitigating circumstances being considered, because Gypsy's fake mitigating circumstances were totally considered. So whatever the judge, I just want him to have a fair chance. That's all I want for Nick. And if the judge says, okay, you've done enough time and and that's all on the judge, but I just want him to have a fair shot. I want to talk a second about and if anybody can help me with this, I'm not 100% sure about NPG Cornerstone.
Mm.
I don't know who these people are. There was a woman, Jessica, who she didn't get into anything. She was trying to speak nicely. She has a British accent, and she got into an argument with, again, I'm wording that wrong. They got into an argument with her and treated her horribly. That woman, Jessica, is supposedly from the NPG Cornerstone. If anybody knows who she is, if they could reach out to her and ask her to please contact me, I would love to talk to her, because I want justice for Nick. I want somebody that I could talk to that's going to be working with that. I just don't know who NPG Cornerstone is. They're blocking people. They're not letting people on. There's content creators I know that have shared with me that they've been blocked, and these people are good people. They're trying to help. So I'm trying to understand why they're not letting people help Nick. If anybody can answer that, people on the panel, anybody in the chat.
I don't know. NPG to me, that never made any sense, because it doesn't seem like they're doing anything for him. And so I just stayed away from that altogether. I don't, by the looks of it, you're not helping anything. In fact, you're doing the opposite. And so I just keep away from them. I don't really, you know what I mean? We all want justice for Nick, and I agree with you. He needed a fair trial,
Yeah, I don't
and
know anything about them either way, but I just get a weird vibe. I just
me too.
I don't trust them.
Do you
Nope.
know what I think would bring a lot of justice for Nick?
What's that?
If April Johns was just to own up to her crap,
Mm.
bring all the evidence that everyone, a lot of creators have now. I mean, she already has the warrant in Missouri. You might as well just go all in and do something good for once, April.
Mm-hmm.
Own up to it. Say that you helped destroy this man's reputation. You intentionally helped destroy his life. You publicly defamed his father and the Petries, and then you have the audacity to talk about this man's mental health and then email him and try to get life rights and all of this. If she was to own up and go maybe speak on Nick's behalf, like, hey, I messed up. I sabotaged. I did all this. I have a warrant. Take me in. That would make a lot of justice. But that's just me.
I second that. I second that emotion. I feel like that's really good. I like that. And I've had people tell me that she wants to be some sort of martyr. There you go. Because short from that, I don't know how she's going to come back from this, because
Exactly.
I am going to expose every single thing that everybody has sent me, because she's in the way, and she's messed things up.
This is her chance to be a hero.
She is still selling books that have the wrong narrative. Like, why aren't you even going to that book and saying, at least on the front of the book, listen, my narrative has changed. This is from begin. And the books, they're books, but they're like, I could, at the end of this, I could hit print, get all of our words together, hit print, and it would be a book. It would be a big book too, because look at how many people are talking, and we've already been talking for almost 2 hours.
And it would still be better written than Gypsy's.
Yes.
And it would absolutely be.
How
So,
can you tour on a book tour off of a narrative that you no longer believe in?
Mm-mm.
And you want people to donate for you to go do a tour for a narrative that no one no longer believes in. And apparently she doesn't either. If she's, I want a Dee Dee's law.
yeah, right. I don't understand. First of all, no, well, yeah, okay. I'm not even gonna say that anymore because I took off that hat of politeness. Who the fuck's gonna pay for this shit? I mean, like, seriously, who's gonna do this? Who wants to see it? What's wrong with you? Like, check yourself. You need to check yourself. You're not liked right now. I totally agree with what Marissa said. It was you, Marissa, that said it, right? Was it you
Yes,
that
ma'am.
said it? Okay. I think that that's a great idea for Fancy to yeah, own your shit, own it. And that would show a lot. That would show a lot.
That would make her what she thinks that she already is, you know, an advocate. That would make her a genuine, true advocate. Own up to your shit, Fancy.
Yeah,
Own
no, I
it.
agree.
If
I
you're
don't
going to
think she
have
has the character.
That will
contracts,
never happen.
all the proof is out here now, Fancy. We've all seen it. Some people are having it and they're waiting to break it. You're about to be destroyed. Lawsuits could come out. Here's your one and only chance, if you ask me. Before you look like Danny DeVito from Batman again.
Right. And I think that that's a great way for her to get ahead of it. Guys, let me own my trouble, let me do the right thing. Absolutely. I agree I would love to see that happen. So I'm hoping.
I don't think it ever will happen, but
I don't think
hey,
it will
maybe
either.
she could prove us all wrong. You never know.
Yeah, who's taking bets?
Personal
taking-
challenge, please. Prove us wrong, please.
I agree.
I'll donate to her if she does that.
Yeah.
I'll put it on her commissary.
I'll put it on your commissary too.
Absolutely.
You'll get commissary each week if you want. Yeah. Well,
I'm
I don't know
get
what
a video made about me now.
about how terrible we're terrible. And not only is Morbid put out with nobodies, now Toddy One Skip has got even less nobodies.
Word.
We're proud. Okay, so wait, somebody's saying Weekend of Jazz Fest, she claims she conceived, but yet they were taking pictures that she was already pregnant. That's the point that I'm making here.
She was pregnant before she got with Ken. That baby's runs.
See, Ivory Rose, what are you thinking?
I think that she was with Ken the entire time.
Okay.
I really don't think she had
Oh.
any real interest in Ryan. I really think Ryan was just a tool for her. He looked good after, to come out of prison. I don't think she had any attraction to him. The whole time it was trying to get Ken back with Ken.
I'm sorry.
Makes sense.
And I believe that, but then again, it doesn't make sense. Then why are they changing the birth date?
My thing is maybe she didn't take that Plan B pill.
I don't think she did.
Because Plan B pills can cause infertility. So maybe she never took it, and maybe, like Toddy said, the baby was born in November, because I'd line up. I have a baby. My son's birthday's in December, and he was conceived in March. So if the baby was born in November, it would have been conceived in February, and that's about the time that Mia said something about that Plan B pill.
Yeah. I don't think she ever took that Plan B. I think she was already pregnant, and she needed to prove to Ryan and everybody else that she took it in case it came out that she was pregnant.
But you still think it's Ken's baby?
I do.
Okay.
I really do. I didn't at first, but now I really do. I don't think that they were being intimate. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, you could already see her.
But here's the thing. She doesn't take intimacy the way that we take it, like you seem like the type of person as me. I ain't gonna sleep with somebody that I don't love. You know what I'm saying? But Gypsy is freaky. I,
That's true.
Yeah, she's gonna jump on the first thing that's there out of prison.
you know what
It's
I'm
the
saying? Like
apartment
she's a little kinky and freaky. So I
Yeah.
mean, got Trixie wanted to jump up. Trixie, I put the link in the chat. Hang on, let me do it again. Let me do
I
it
love
again.
Trixie.
Because I did put it in there. Now I just gotta pin it apparently. So hang on. First of all, I gotta find it. So I'm not good at this stuff. Sorry, guys.
So, what do we think about her having to do the paternity test in Ohio?
Mm,
Is I mean, here's just like a theory: is that the only district attorney she could pay off out of all the counties in the country?
might be.
Because she wanted to trap Ken. She was infatuated with Ken from the beginning. Who wakes up their husband in the middle of the night? Hey, I miss my ex.
Right.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
Smith.
Yeah. I don't think she does anything. I don't. Yeah. Again, I think she has a lot of stuff. Who got off? I think she has a lot of stuff. That she has on him. I think he shared too much with her. Like he told her everything, all of his deep dark secrets. That's what I think he told her, and I think it will ruin his career, or he thinks it will ruin his career. I really do think that. I really do think that.
Ryan.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm talking about Ryan.
Yeah,
I'm talking about Ryan.
I'm on the fence because I can see that too. I can see that she has something on Ryan.
Yeah, because otherwise, why isn't he talking so much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially now. You would
But
think that
what could there
would be
possibly
running with the
be?
info.
Right? That's what I'm saying. So hang on, Trixie Lane. I got her up here. Okay.
I did see what Trixie said, and she's absolutely correct. Maybe they're just doing all this shit to, work to maybe get us off of the justice for Dee Dee. But again, with
Morbid ain't gonna let that go.
the
No.
fancy thing, even that is justice for Dee Dee.
I'm not letting that go. That's for Nick and for Dee Dee. I'm not letting that go.
Mm.
So I'm not letting that go. There's
Absolutely.
a few channels. They're not gonna let that go. And listen, if I got to put up 2 videos a day, one to cover her and one to do something a little bit more serious, I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to do. I don't know who Dragon Lady is, but let's give it a shot. Welcome. And
Hi.
Trixie Lane, you're up here. We're waiting on you.
Hey, I was just waiting for a minute to step in.
How you
How is
doing,
everyone?
guys?
Doing well. For me, I've been watching Morbid, and I've been watching you most of the day today, Toddy.
Thank
I
you.
yeah, it's been a revelation to actually hear. Um, was it Amber that you were talking to this morning?
Amber from Into the Weeds
Yeah.
podcast.
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Yes. And when she was thinking to herself and she said, "You know what? I'm going to start calling her April Johns."
Yes.
That really hit me. And it was like, you know what? We all should be doing that because
Yes.
she's a nobody. She's nothing. She doesn't have any information. She backtracks all the time, and she's a lost cause. Like behaviorally, she's just out there.
Yeah.
Totally out there.
I agree, and that struck me like that as well. She said, this is what she said for those that didn't, because it struck me. She said, I don't want to call her Fancy Maselli anymore because it's a delusion. And everything that's attached to that is delusional. So if I call her April Johns, which is her name, that delusion goes away.
I love that. That is so true.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And
So
it's very striking because she loses her online identity and has to become more realistic, right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Because, well, it's true. Fancy Maselli is connected to all this fake stuff and all this stuff that has failed. But April Johns is the person that has to live with all of that stuff that she created. So let's take the mask off.
Exactly. I agree.
It may be confusing to some people once we, creators start switching to that, but it'll catch on real quick.
Yeah, well, I could always try to say, April Johns, aka Fancy Maselli.
We
She's gonna
all,
be fuming, y'all. Just fuming.
yeah. But like I said, it's something that really hit, and it's quite the revelation in my book.
I agree.
Let's disconnect her from the fantasy of being fancy,
Yes.
and put her back in her place as, April
April.
Johns.
As just April Johns. Yeah.
April Johns, the criminal.
I
Yeah.
I never even say her name a lot of the time because I purpose kind of like Nina, she's irrelevant to me. Her name's not worth coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in like a very snarky or snooty way. It's just she has caused so much issue, especially for Nick and where he's concerned, that it's to a point that there are trolls out there who are in Nicholas's ears telling him not to speak to any of us. And not just not about the case or how we can help, but in general, we can't even ask him, hey, can you verify that you don't want the rally? We just want to clear up some confusion. We want to know, or is there anything that you need? He won't respond now because of that, and I don't blame the poor kid.
Neither do I.
But
I think that Nick has lost so much trust in society and in the people that say they care, because he was once told he was cared for.
Yep.
And now how do you gain trust when there's none to be had?
Well, it's like the old saying goes, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me. Shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Well, now he's been fooled twice because of April Johns.
Right.
Exactly.
Does it seem to anybody else? Whoops, sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Does it seem to anybody else like, I don't, I know obviously Toddy writes to him, but do the replies seem very generic? Like someone revised and told him what to say, or is that just me?
No, I've said that before.
Wow.
I know in my initial email to him the very first time, I specifically told him, please, show your lawyers this email, let them validate it, whatever you need to do, just to show him, I'm being genuine. Like I really just want to, talk to you. And then the second email I sent him had nothing to do with any of this. I just asked him, I said, hey, do you need anything? Have you read any good books lately? I just basic chitter chatter, how you doing? I know you probably could use somebody to have normal talk with.
Right.
And nothing.
Yeah, but that makes me wonder if he's on to April and her ploys.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like how can he trust anybody that's trying to get to the other side? Right?
That's what she has done. That is exactly what she has done to us. So I don't know, and I'm just going to repeat this for those that hadn't seen it. There's been emails that have come out from communication between this woman named Dawn and Fancy, or April Johns, aka Fancy Maselli, and Nick Godejohn. Now, it's unclear if this woman, Dawn, was in relation with Nick before Fancy met her, but she was used as a tool at some point to continue being or to be Nick's girlfriend while he's in jail, and to try to extract things so that, in Fancy's words, he'll never ever get out and he will never get an appeal. He will stay there
Or see the light of day.
and see the light of day. Yes, I'm sorry. So,
And those are the
Nancy,
words. Those are the
it-
words that will not redeem her, no matter what she
exactly.
does. At this point.
And she's claiming that she never worked with this woman, but I have the contract. I have the
Eh,
contract. I just need to go through the stuff. I just don't want to throw it out there and people be confused about it. And I don't care if other creators have it. Let them put it out there. I'm not going to be and nobody's threatened me or anything, but I decided I am not going to be hurried in the presentation, because it's more important to me that the presentation is easily that it's easy for people to see. I don't want to play games with it. I just want to make it as easy as possible. Here's what she said, here's what she did.
Yeah.
Here's what she said, here's what she did. You know what I'm saying?
You don't understand, yeah.
And that makes sense.
That's a
Well, that way
great
more
part
people
for
would watch
just
that.
for Nick. That's
And,
great.
and not only that, but Tottie's process is enlightening, because a lot of people don't have that process and don't have that ability to negate that. They just put it out there to put it out there because they want to be the first ones to put it out there.
Yeah. And you can't, because you can lose credibility. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Like
Yep.
you could lose it. And again, it's more important that I get the message. It's more important that I get the message out there as opposed to getting any kind of presentation per se, or to just get it out there first and scream it from the rooftops. We did that just yesterday, me and I am so sorry. Into the Weeds podcast. I'll be on her channel tomorrow as well. It's her birthday. Don't tell her I said, but it's her birthday tomorrow. Amber, that's Amber, the mom, not Alora, but that's Amber. So anybody that wants to wish her a happy birthday, I thought I saw her in the chat earlier, but don't tell
Yeah,
her I
no, she was
said
Both
there
those girls are a
earlier.
delight.
Anyway, she had done some FOIAs,
Mhm.
and these FOIAs, they have so much information, and some of this stuff Fancy claimed. That's another thing. So, she got a FOIA that says this is stuff that Fancy should have had. And it says right in there that Gypsy told Aaliyah before the unaliving, I guess Aaliyah moved out of the area to go to school, and they were writing back and forth. And it was after the photos that were sent to the dad, and Aaliyah got blamed for that, right? So, and she tells Aaliyah, the reason why I've been so sick is because of the micro deletion. I have a micro deletion. That right there says there's no Munchausen by proxy. That one sentence.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
How come nobody else? And I don't mean how come nobody else. We see it. When I say how come nobody else, I'm talking about mainstream media, because we
Right.
see it.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, about that. The Munchausen thing should have been debunked before Gypsy even got her plea deal.
Mhm.
Because Kim Blanchard even said she had a microdeletion on her interview. It was on the interview.
Yeah. It
She
was.
said we found out in 2011 that she had a microdeletion, or two of them is what she said. Actually, I don't know if she just
Didn't
didn't know
he
what
say-
it was or what, but
I thought I heard him say that she had a chromosome disorder.
Yes, that's what it was. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That's what I think. I think you're correct. I think you're
Yeah, I
correct.
think it was a chromosome disorder when he was doing his interview. Yeah, I think it was in Lifetime. I think it was a Lifetime. But I swear I remember him saying it was a chromosome disorder, and they hadn't deciphered what that disorder was at that time, because he didn't mention it. But then last night, when on
They're
Morbid,
saying it was Mommy, Dead, and Dearest in the chat, guys. Just so you know.
okay,
Mhm.
okay. Last night when Ken was talking, like he is so out of the loop. He
Mhm.
That baby, if she has the deletion, that baby is tested as soon as that baby was born. There's no way that baby wasn't tested. No way. I don't care what anybody says. That baby gets blood tested as soon as it's born. So they know.
Does anybody know if the baby would be in the NICU for any amount of time after birth because of that?
I'm not sure, but my niece, she has a microdeletion, and she was severely sick until she was about 5 years old.
Mm.
And I'm telling you, like, failure to thrive, she didn't grow until she was about 7, 8 years old. She looked like a 3-year-old.
Mm.
And tiny, 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 and eating was the hardest thing. Like, even now, eating, and she's 10.
Mm.
So I have huge issues with how, but I'm also in Canada. So things
Oh, forget about you then.
yeah,
I'm
things could be
joking.
different because, like, we have free healthcare, right?
Yes.
So that's the kind
God
of thing
bless
that,
you.
yeah. Well, we pay for it in other ways.
Well, we
Big-
pay for ours even after we pay for ours.
I
Right.
know, I know. So it all works out, I think. Yeah, so she would have, and I do believe she was born at the end of November or in November.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I do believe, and I believe that they went away around that time as well. So she didn't have her baby where she said her baby.
Mm.
Well,
There,
we
there's
saw in
no
the chat, Nelly Belly said there was no announcement
yeah.
for
There was
Aurora.
what?
There was no announcement of Aurora's birth.
Yeah, because in the hospital she was saying that they announced births weekly.
Mm.
And Aurora's wasn't. So she either went to a different town to do it or a different county, and nobody was the wiser. Or she could have had a home birth. Who knows?
I agree with that. I don't agree with. I don't think she had a home birth, but I do agree with she wasn't around that area when she had the baby. I also agree with.
Mhm.
I personally think she had the baby in November when she was supposed to be having Thanksgiving in Florida.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'm
home birth
still
isn't an option when you're high risk.
I'm still part of the minority that says there's not a baby yet.
Who's that, Trixie?
Yes, that is.
How you doing, Trixie Lane? Okay, so tell us your theory.
Well, I mean, because of her microdeletion, chromosome disorder, whatever you call it. Some of the light reading that I did on that, obviously that causes fertility issues. Especially due to her having the feeding tube. That causes complications. Well, let's see. I think most of us are mothers here. We know what pregnancy looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And come on. She's slapping all of us in the face and laughing with all of that. But nothing adds up. And just based on what my colleague had said, they don't know if she's pregnant, but they don't think she is. But they know that there is going to be a baby involved, whatever that meant.
Huh.
They could have adopted.
That right
I
there
still
would be my thing.
Could have been
because
surrogate.
That's why I didn't believe she wasn't pregnant, because at some point you got to have a kid somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a surrogate somewhere, or she's planning to hurt somebody, and I really pray to God
Ooh,
doesn't.
no.
Have you guys
Oh.
seen the story that just broke about a couple faking a pregnancy and stealing a newborn from the hospital?
No.
And she's very good at stealing people's stories and running them as her own.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I'm sorry, but she reminds me of Lifetime stories all over the place.
Right.
Nothing past her.
She was made
somebody
for
says that
Lifetime.
Pat Pajama says she's too cheap for fertility.
But I've listened to Gypsy's version, Ken's version, and now Raina's version of the birth. And I'm telling you, they're all idiots.
See, that's where my thing is. It's like the high risk thing, and the way Gypsy is, she would have tried to cash in off the feel bad for me. They're making me go through this. I have to go see my OB every other day to get stress test and get my cervix checked. I have PTSD for being poked and prodded. I can't believe I'm going through this. She would have it would have been a part of her story. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I am so passionate and hung up on this high risk thing, because we know Gypsy loves attention, especially medically. It would have been a whole thing. So when like Becca was talking to Ken, like, what is the medical reason she was being, there was a planned induction for, he couldn't give one. And then
There wasn't
Raina
one.
comes and says, hey, at 34 weeks, there was a medical crisis and she was having to do shots to help develop the baby's lungs. If she has such a rare disorder, they wouldn't have just been like, here, take some shots at home. She would have been admitted and been under observation to keep that baby in her. And it, you know, she would have been posting at some kind of picture like, hey, pray for the baby. It doesn't add up.
Oh,
So
she
it's
would have
really
hit off that
hard.
in a heartbeat. She would have gone live and said, I need donations for this because I'm stuck.
It would have been like
Absolutely.
on Mean Girls. I'm sick.
Absolutely.
My whole theory with what Raina and Ken and everyone was saying about the, you know, the induction date, I think goes along with the fact that I believe she was due in November. If you look at, they're saying that there was an induction date of the 16th. She gave birth on the 28th. I think that baby was right on time. I don't believe that baby was premature, which makes sense if they put an induction date at the 16th, because that would be 2 weeks overdue, and obstetricians don't want you to go longer than 2 weeks overdue. And the first one, you're usually, not always, but usually you go too long. And so that's the only thing in my mind that makes sense on those dates, because you wouldn't induce somebody who's, I walked around 4 centimeters dilated for 6 weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was a high risk pregnancy with one of them, with that pregnancy. It doesn't make sense that you're going to induce someone who's already dilating on their own. They're already in the first stage of labor.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly. Unless
Why would you plan an induction if they're already starting to labor prematurely, technically? So the only thing that makes sense to me, and well, that's why I think Raina was doing damage control, was if you look at the date the baby was born, the 16th induction date, it all makes sense with the fact that that baby was born before the 28th.
I don't feel like he had any kind of knowledge of what childbirth was.
Yeah, I don't think he. Yeah, that's the feeling I got too, and
Yeah.
I definitely think that what you and Becca both think, and that Ivory, that she that Raina went for damage control. That's what that was about. Like,
And
'cause
that
that
was
was
very
something that was something really important. I mean, Becca said in that video, you know, why was that so important? Why is that so important? Like, you know, again, you got, with her and that whole clan, you got to pay attention to what's not being said.
Yeah.
That was very sick how she did that. She showed up in Morbid's chat and she goes, I want to speak to the Petries. I want to talk about my granddaughter with them. I want to connect with them. She used that claim to go up there and make up more horse shit. Pardon my French.
Well,
he's never going to see the Petries. Never.
None of that was about the Petries.
Gypsy's not going to allow, but you know, Morbid tried to. Morbid said, can I help facilitate that? Can I get your word on that? He did
Many
the same
times.
thing with Ken the night before. He did the same thing with Ken the night before. We all heard it. Unfortunately, the words don't mean anything.
Ken has no desire to hook up
Ken
with
did not
Petries.
commit to anything.
Yes, I know, but their words don't mean. No, Ken did.
Yeah.
Ken said, yeah, you got me. No, Ken
Anyone who
did
wants
commit.
to have a relationship with the baby can. And he said, even the Petries. And he said, well, yeah, even the Petries.
Yeah, but then
but
he said, can I get your word on that? No, he pushed it further. And Ken definitely, in my opinion, yes, he did. He committed to that.
He committed to it, but I don't think he was sincere. I really
That's
don't.
the
Especially
thing.
where
I
Gypsy's
agree.
concerned.
That I agree. I agree. You can't believe
That's what
him. Yeah.
Because at the very end, when he's trying to get off for the last time, I mean, he says, you know what? They can email me, or they can.
That's my point.
Yeah, they can Instagram me, or they can get me on Facebook, but they're not going to have my phone number.
Right.
Why can't he reach out to them? That's
Right.
That's
exactly.
My point. He's not sincere.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Gypsy's in his ear saying, F no,
He'll
not
tell
happening.
Morbid it did. He'll tell Morbid it did just to save face.
And Morbid
Yeah.
will call him a liar.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
No, I don't, listen, I give Morbid a lot of credit because he did a lot. He did a lot more than April Johns, aka Fancy Maselli did. He did a
And a
lot
very
more.
short
And
amount of
how long has she had it for? Hey, Nellie Belly's Funhouse. He said that he can reach out. That was a cop out. Yeah.
yeah, it was.
Yeah, Morbid's
I
done
agree.
great. Morbid and his they've done way, like, here's my thing. Where was all these, documents and files and such that Fancy had to where she just started going through them and figuring things out in the last year?
She didn't have anything. She only had the medical documents and goodness, what else was it? One other thing. She really didn't have anything, hardly at all.
How embarrassing is it to post videos within the last week of new findings in the micro deletion when Becca
Fancy.
already covered that 4 months ago, hun?
But Becca only got it from Fancy. Don't you understand that?
And then she had
Oh,
to
yeah.
trash Becca and make her own video about it.
April
Everybody that
Johns.
watches Becca now, Fancy. Like, oh, April, I'm sorry. Everyone that watches Perez Hilton, oh, guess what? They're going to Becca. Fancy's completely irrelevant. That's where,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, April. Oh my goodness, this is going to be hard, guys.
Well, Fancy Johns is flying on everybody's coattails, and she's been doing it for a long time.
Mhm.
And she only bashes people when she doesn't hear what she wants to hear.
Right.
Blocking, accusing, promoting that she's going to sue everybody.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
she
threatening,
blocked-
absolutely threatening.
Yeah.
Threatening, absolutely
say this,
threatening.
But you
I
know
have
what?
a video of
do
her
it all the time.
threatening people. I have an audio. Somebody sent me of her threatening people, but I actually had heard that before a while ago. Threatening people about somebody, I guess, had given some information, and she was just a horrible human being. She is so fucking horrible. She's just horrible.
What's the difference between what she's doing to Gypsy
Gypsy.
and Nick? You know, like, be accountable for your own actions. Be
Well,
accountable. If you're
she
going to do
couldn't even
it, expect it to be done to you.
she couldn't even address those quote unquote abuse allegations correctly. Like, Fancy, did you not watch your own video before you made an addressing video? You couldn't even get it right. Not
She
one bit
goes
of
where
it.
she can get money. That's what it boils down to. This
Yeah.
isn't about integrity or truth.
It's about
or,
money.
Because if you recall when Gypsy and Christy were trying to sue Fancy up here in Missouri,
True.
her
Yeah, there's gonna be a
allegation point
GoFundMe.
blank was, I'm going to take her down. I'm going to destroy Gypsy, no matter what it takes.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
She
Yep.
made that point blank. She don't care. She wants back in where the money is. So
Well,
if
because she lost her
Christy and Gypsy said come back, she would.
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone see the live she did where, I mean, I think you done lost your oh my goodness, monetization, Toddy. So I think she looked scared shitless in that live where she's talking about this video that's coming out that Bree's doing.
That's
I
it.
almost-
Yeah,
I
we
wanna know
talked
what
about
you
that.
do.
We talked about that before you came on. I was talking about that with Case, and 1980 caught that. 1980 said, "Look at
She
how
did.
nervous she looks,"
Mm-hmm.
and Becca said that, and everybody kind of jumped on board. But in all honesty, the first person I heard it from was 1980's video. I don't
That's
know.
where I heard it from too. Mhm.
Yeah,
I think
So-
she's afraid of the wrong person. And she
Who?
needs a reality check on that. That this is, hello, April, this is the internet. Things get passed around. The internet's forever. Everything you've said, done, someone's kept it in a folder somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
right.
don't-
She is,
Yeah.
her grave's been dug.
See,
You
and
know.
I
And
commented on
she
that
dug it
video.
herself.
Yeah.
I commented on that video for 1980, and I was like, look, because she was like, let me know in the comments, what do you think this means? Well, I'll tell you what I think it means. It means Fancy screwed.
Mm-hmm.
This has nothing to do with Nick. That's
Mhm.
just the coattails she's riding off.
Well,
you know?
let me tell you where I am going to put them together because I am very passionate about Nick getting his reconsideration.
Yes.
I'm
Yes,
passionate
very
about
much
that.
so.
And I'm
Mhm.
also passionate about prison reform, which I'm talking to Into the Weeds who's doing it already. And I asked if I could please get involved. What did it look like? So we're having, but she's already started it. But Nick isn't talking to anybody because all he ever did was respond to somebody on a
He-
dating app, on a
Yeah, he pressed
Christian
the wrong
dating app. And then what he did was he gets incarcerated for basically being a hero and yes, in a way he shouldn't have, okay? But to her, why isn't he here? Why isn't he your hero? I mean, he took you out of the
Absolutely.
situation. That's what you wanted. But then he's incarcerated and the guy's, he's losing family members, right?
Right.
And then somebody writes to him and he's thinking, oh man, I got something to wake up for again, only to find out that that person has been using him for fancy.
Ugh.
What the fuck? Leave him alone.
Mhm.
What the
Yeah.
hell did that man do? What did he ever do that he deserved this? And when you saw that, Fancy, and you saw that this guy's already doing time for something that somebody got away with, MURDER, okay? Now I just spell it. I'm sorry. It's an automatic thing. Like I start spelling things in English now, people think I'm teaching. Anyway, seriously, Fancy has made crystal clear water as murky as shit water.
Mhm.
And everybody that stepped through it has to get out and take a fucking shower
Mhm.
because she is just a disgusting human being that uses people's lives as collateral, just as bad as Gypsy.
Mhm.
She's quickly became, just within 1 month, the most hated woman on the internet 2025.
Well, she earned it. She
Well,
earned that title.
Yes, she
next
did.
side to Gypsy.
Yeah. She's one of the same.
Yes.
Yeah, they
He's one of
lie
the same.
about everything. They're very,
And
very
KJ.
similar.
Oh shoot! I probably shouldn't say that name because we all know she pops up like a sore thumb every time that name comes up. Sorry.
That's okay. That's
So
okay.
Toddy, it's okay that you spell out those words still because you're just teaching Donnie and Milo how to, spell.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. That's right. That's right.
Well, and I also don't believe that Nick did the crime. I think that a lot of it was
Exactly.
on him.
Mhm.
I think
Yep.
she actually did it all.
He committed a crime. He still committed a crime. He is still guilty.
Yeah.
But I don't think he did what he is charged with.
Exactly.
You watch his
Mhm.
interrogation. He's very truthful. And he said very graphically that it was an exact amount of number. And
Yeah.
the last one, it was hard to pull out because I
Right.
think I did
Mhm.
this. So he
Right.
admits to it. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
like you just said, look at the blood stains.
Yeah.
He, in my opinion, definitely helped with that. She was definitely in there and did her thing.
Oh yeah. I think like she had so much anger pent up.
Oh yeah, no. That was a crime. Yes, I think Gypsy did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think for a minute that she was in the bathroom shaving her legs. Please.
No, he admitted later that she wasn't. That
Yeah.
she was absolutely in the room. She was holding.
Even if you read her book, she talks about hearing her mother gurgling and calling her name, and
You
didn't
wouldn't hear that from the bathroom.
covering your ears
No.
in a bathroom. You heard
Yeah,
that
you wouldn't hear that.
close. You don't. Yeah, choking on
That
blood.
that would be a subtle sound.
Mhm.
Yep.
That would not be a sound. That would be because
Right.
like, you know what I mean? Like she's not close enough. She was there. She was extremely part of it.
Nick
And-
also stated he was afraid that she didn't think he could actually go through with it. So I think she needed to be there to make sure.
Oh
that-
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, y'all
I-
know how Nick said he would never forgive Dan, right? What if Dan was already in there with Gypsy committing some sort of
Yes.
act,
Well,
and Nick showed up to that?
That's
Yep.
what
Yes.
all my videos are about.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trixie does great videos. I don't know if any of you guys ever watch any of the psychics that do like readings or anything on this subject. They pop in my
The
feed.
star.
Yes, Candace Starr.
Candace
Okay,
Starr
that's
videos are
exactly
beautiful.
who I was about to talk about.
Yeah.
She did some breakdowns of the crime scene photos. I don't know if anyone's seen that.
I have seen those.
Yeah, I did.
Where it looks like there was a leg here and a leg here and all it was like
And the
someone,
pooling of the blood,
There's
and
not-
the wrists.
There's not that much body of water. There's one pond that's about a 7-minute walk from the house. But that's the only body of water that's really close.
Oh, I think I'm talking about something a little different. Someone was saying that they think Dan was there. And in the crime scene photos in Dee Dee's room, Candace broke down where it looked like someone was having intercourse all around that bedroom, on the bed beside her, and things like that.
Yeah.
I definitely see that happening. I think, like Toddy does, Nick wasn't supposed to leave. I think that Dan was there. The first 13 were done by Gypsy and Dan. Gypsy was supposed to leave with Dan, but Gypsy didn't do something quite the way Dan wanted her to, or the way that he wanted her to, or she refused to do something. And he said, you know what? F you, I'm out. Clean up the mess. You guys have fun.
That's as close as, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that Nick was supposed to
he was the fall guy right from the beginning.
Yeah, he was supposed to leave that house in a body bag. He was it was supposed to look like, like I think totally it was because there was no ticket for him. There's too much. And that's an important thing. The ticket to get out of town, there was no ticket for her. There was a ticket for him. There was no ticket for her. Remember? Why would come on? So that's a major thing for me. That's and that's a fact. That's not something that she could question. I mean, that's a fact. There was no ticket for her. Why wouldn't you get yourself out of the crime scene if that was where you were going to go? Come on, that makes no sense. She's smarter than that.
Absolutely.
So I think that Nick was supposed to look like an intruder, and that ended up getting killed by Dee Dee, and both of them ended up dying. And where's Gypsy? And nobody could find Gypsy, and that's the end, because they wouldn't be looking for Gypsy. They would be looking for a wheelchaired individual that couldn't live without anything, and in a month's time they'd write her off as dead. Nobody would be looking for Gypsy Rose Blanchard walking around with a wig or anything else, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I think was supposed to happen that night, but I think Dan said no.
I think her suicide sounds like what that could have been like. She would have gotten away scot-free from every accountability. So that's potentially exactly what could have happened.
That's what I think happened.
There was a third person there. I don't know that if I think it was definitely Dan, but I do
was a third person.
Because why else was she scrubbing the blood off the carpet? Like, what was she scrubbing the carpets for? You weren't moving a dead body. There was blood all over the house that belonged to both Nick, and what was the purpose of scrubbing the carpets? It made no sense.
Because you're right. I think that body was moved back. So is that your theory that you think? But also there was supposedly somebody with a raincoat. Don't we hear that in the interrogation? Like, didn't we hear that, or somebody enhanced that interrogation with Nick where he said something about a raincoat? Am I wrong, or has anybody else heard that?
Yeah, he did.
He mentions the guy in the raincoat.
Yeah, that's not Dan. He mentions Dan by name, and then he mentioned, and not that he
Yellow raincoat guy is somebody he does not know by name.
So it's not this. So there's another person there.
I'm wondering if she was trying to clean up the blood because of the age of the stains, because they can tell by how dried up the blood is.
But not if she was leaving for an extended period of time. That wouldn't make any sense.
Or she was cleaning it up before Nick got there and realized what he walked into.
Here's the thing.
Somebody else's DNA up?
I don't think Gypsy cleaned up any blood, if I'm being honest. That's why there were people in the house, for one. But for two, that crime scene is a mess. There's blood everywhere. She made sure that the lights stayed off so Nick didn't see any of it, because Nick would have questioned it. He didn't want to go in that house that night. He even asked her before he walked through that door, point blank, are you sure we can't leave? Are you sure we can't go? All the while, Nick's mom is texting at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Well, if she would have turned the AC down that low, I'm sorry, but I would have froze up and blown, and there's no way in the world it ran that cold for that long.
Right? I thought
So,
about that too. Wouldn't it have frozen up? I thought so
yes.
too. How does it stay on
Yeah.
40 degrees forever? Like for days?
So,
It doesn't, because air conditioners are auto run. They don't stay that low.
That's
They
right.
go
They
up
get to
and
a certain temperature, and you're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
And even though you set it for the lower temperature, it'll always go back to the medium temperature that it was at originally factory set for. So
Now, what do you think about David, the neighbor?
that's what I was going to say. David went in there and turned that AC down.
how would he know to turn the AC down?
I feel like, how did David not see her body? I mean, I get that.
Well, no,
Yeah.
I'll tell you how here's my, that place was a pigsty with they hoarded. So I mean, you could have anything. I totally understand. But I think that he has more to do with it. And Kathy Hanna is saying this, and I'm sorry, I don't have the footage from the hospital. That'd be great. By the way, the person that's saying I'm filing FOIA on it, please do.
Yeah, I don't know if she's talking about the day before the, unaliving, where Dee Dee was in the hospital with Gypsy. But I know myself, Morbid, and a couple of other people have uploaded that somewhere on YouTube. So it's definitely somewhere.
David was Gypsy's Dee Dee. Gypsy's fake baby is named Aurora after Kim's daughter.
Kim's daughter is Aurora too, yes.
If chat doesn't know, Trixie did absolutely amazing videos on the Blanchards talking about David and Kim.
Yes, absolutely so. Absolutely so. Oh, and she's answering stuff. Tricky, you're multitasking.
I'm trying really hard.
You're doing great. You're doing great. You're doing great. You're doing great. So, so Fancy's gonna get her, or I'm sorry, April John's gonna get her head.
It's so hard.
We're gonna get it done. We're gonna get it done. But so nobody knows this woman, Jessica, that spoke so eloquently, and nobody can really have anything that could really kind of sell me on the Cornerstone, huh? Okay, well, I'm gonna stay where I'm at with Cornerstone until they could show. I mean, listen, I'm not working for them. I'm working for justice for Nick.
Yeah,
that's where I'm working. That's where I'm going. And the fact that Fancy messed that up for him so bad. Yeah, so she's just in the crossfire. That's where she put herself in. I'm just gonna knock down two. And I'm not speaking for Morbid, but I 100% believe that it's got to come up as he's finding justice for Dee Dee.
Yes.
And at the very least, if Morbid could support the idea of, if Nick has to serve more time, at least, have hopes that maybe he can have a stronger support system around him. Whether it be, maybe he would want to go back to Wisconsin and serve time there so that he's around his father and his uncle and whoever, because I do happen to know Dan has been in that prison. And I'm sure Dan probably still has contacts within that prison that is still serving time in his ear, which is what I'm worried about. I'm worried that Nick is being threatened.
I have people that I'm trying to, that I am reaching out to, that know people in that facility, and they should be like balancing that out. I'm hoping. I'm hoping. I don't know what's going on, but I'm hoping that, because I didn't think he was being threatened per se, but I was thinking that he was being I think that
Guided
I'm
almost.
sorry.
Like guided almost into how he should
Yeah,
respond.
exactly. Like he was being manipulated,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and and let's get some. I just want to get this clear, because it was Morbid just doesn't. It's his opinion. He doesn't think that Nick should be out
Right.
on the streets. He's all for Nick getting reconsidered and having
Right.
a judge decide.
A
But
fair trial, yeah.
that's what and if the judge decides it, then the judge decides it, but he wants him to get a fair trial.
Right.
He
That's my
definitely does.
as well. Like, I understand that he's guilty and he did it, and you know what I mean, but I think it's more important that he never had the shot at a fair trial, and he deserves that. And whatever the judge decides, and I'm good with it, because then he would have had a fair trial.
Exactly.
True.
Exactly.
Very-
And, think of how it looks for those that are, either have mental illnesses or are disabled and, or autistic and things like that, how that plays out for them if they ever screw up in life, because they didn't know any better. And of course, we don't want them playing, people that don't have that problem playing that card, because they'll try.
Well,
But,
yeah, like Jessica, like Toddy was talking about, if we're talking about the same person, she's just worried about the future laws for her son.
Yeah, I think that she was concerned about, and that's that. It is bigger than Nick per se, because there's concerns. First of all, there's a lot of concerns when Fancy called herself, April Johns has called herself autistic, and that's why she's apparently on disability as one of the major things, I guess. And then I heard Bree so casually say, well, I could be autistic. Well, what the fuck are we doing with that word? What are we doing with that word? That
work.
what is that, the new cool thing to be is autistic? Come on, like. This guy really had issues and problems, and our government that doesn't give out anything for free has decided that this man will never be able to hold down a job. He was on permanent disability.
Yeah.
they did him wrong.
So there was something wrong there.
Yep.
But for that alone, that neglect, that what is the word I'm looking for? With Fancy, that just irresponsibility of taking that word and making it that way hurts Nick, but it also hurts people like Jessica's son. See, that's yeah.
Well, why would they
think
claim autistic?
I do think Nick needs extensive therapy before he's eligible for parole. That's my opinion.
Absolutely.
Because after all the trauma he has been through all of this, I don't think he is a threat to society under any circumstances. I don't think he's a threat at all. But I do think therapy is something he needs with somebody who specializes with his level of autism and his trauma.
Right.
Yes.
I don't think he's
I will
quite
let you
high
guys-
functioning either.
Yeah.
I don't think it's high functioning autism.
No.
I don't think it's high functioning either.
No.
I work with individuals that had developmental issues. I've been working with them for 25 years. And I'm telling you that it's hard to get high functioning individuals out there, because there's not a lot out there for them. There's not a lot of resources. There's not a lot of services.
Right.
April Johns is using her diagnosis as a cash cow. There is no way on earth that this woman can claim that she has a production company, that she writes books, that she's an investigator, blah, blah.
Oh, it gets better. It gets better. She also, wait a minute, it gets better, guys, because what you guys don't know is that she has a nonprofit.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she's the nonprofit.
I'm going to show you that too. SCOAP. Yeah. She's got a nonprofit, guys. Oh yeah.
Isn't she a forensic psychologist now
Oh,
too?
I got all of that
Oh
shit.
God, does she
Oh
wish?
please, I
You
got
can take
all
a
of
semester
that.
of classes and call yourself anything.
I
Yeah.
think it's
She
asking
also was selling. She also was selling clothes. Look at who it is. Look at who it is.
Nina.
Nina.
But she was also
Nina.
selling clothes online. You know, where got to give her a lot of credit. She put on a bra and was trying to sell the bra. Like, I'm
Dear
not joking.
God, could you
Guys,
imagine?
Oh
seeing
yeah,
her
she
man,
was a
situation and stuff?
Temu
I'm
influencer,
glad I
wasn't
didn't
she?
miss that.
guys,
She
you
was
got
doing
that
those
stuff.
Temos.
Got that stuff. So that's somebody throwing everything
Yeah.
at a wall.
She doesn't need a disability.
Yeah.
She needs to get off her ass and do something with herself instead of being online all the time.
Right.
Like, she's no better than Gypsy. No better.
I mean, why would she call herself the Good Wife's Network if she couldn't even give her husband some on her damn birthday?
I don't know anything about that.
I thought that was
I don't know
quite
anything about
disturbing.
that.
Oh my God, I
Nina, do
almost
you want to
threw
come
up.
on? If Nina comes on, I'm gonna
I'll
ask.
drop out if Nina's coming up.
Okay. Nina, I'm gonna put up the link if you can.
All right. I'm
If
gonna
you
drop
can.
out. Before I do,
Yes,
look, here's
Nina. Yes,
here's
Nina.
my
Come
kitty. He
on.
wants to say hey
Oh,
to
look
Mama
at.
and Daddy.
Oh my
What's his
goodness.
name? He's a cutie pie.
That's
What's his name?
Phineas. He's 20. That's my
Oh
boy.
Phineas. He's
wow.
20.
Yeah,
Wow.
20. Deaf. That's my boy.
Oh, that baby's so pretty.
Yeah, all right.
Aw.
It's been good talking to y'all. I'll catch y'all on the next live.
Jamie,
Bye.
thank you as always. Thank you,
You're
Jamie.
welcome. See
I
you guys.
appreciate you.
Oh,
Bye.
she's so sweet.
Yeah. Jamie's been a long time supporter of the channel. She's great. I put the link up, Nina, if you want to. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I don't even know that you're anywhere where you could grab this. But I did put the link up. Let me put it up again. And yeah.
Yeah,
drop
April
down
diagnoses
too.
herself with anything and everything, just like she gives herself fake certificates to, you know, what is it, forensic psychology and all that. She thinks she's a lawyer too, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's all easily acquired online.
She's crazy. She's a lunatic, that one. It's really looking bad for her now. You know, I mean, it's really gonna look bad for her now because she can't work with anybody. She doesn't want to work with anybody. Everybody's taken all of her information. We only exist because of her. And she believes this shit. Like, I don't understand that.
She needs all the glory, I guess.
Well, some people need all the attention, right? They thrive on that. And if they don't get what they want, then they turn it around and blame it on everybody else.
Yeah, she doesn't have a leg left to stand on at this point. Her best bet would just to be own up for her shit for Nick. And then guess what, Fancy? Or April, you're the fucking hero finally.
Yeah.
Own it up, hand it all over, say I single-handedly did this. I was in a contract to do this. And own up to it. Maybe you'll gain some respect back if you can actually do that. But until then, like Morbid said, you're on Irrelevancy Island.
Exactly. 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 I agree. I agree.
Sorry to be so harsh, but
I'm
know,
traumatized
I feel
by that.
so bad for Nick. And if you think about it, it's April.
Yeah.
It is April that ran this narrative.
And continue, and then turns around and wants to shame other people that might get things wrong.
And defames his father, says he
And
has
supposedly we get all of our information from her. And yes, and defames his dad. Like,
there was
then asks for life rights so that she can set this straight. Fancy, you're the one that screwed it up in the first place.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think NC helped much with that either.
Like, you know what? If you know what, Fancy wants donations, I would donate so that Nick could sue the shit out of her when all this drops. I would donate to that. There's my donation for you, Fancy.
Yeah. Well, Fancy puts an idea out there and it goes off as quick as it came on. She does not follow through with anything.
Hi, Nina. No, I agree. She has no follow through at all. Nina, if you want to come up, you don't have to, but I just want to make sure you see it. If you want to, you can, but don't feel obligated. You got stuff going on. I get it. I'm only going to stay on for a few more minutes because I got to go to work tonight. But
Well, either way, Ken, and Fancy, all of them, they need to step off Nina too.
Yeah.
They're not making life easy with that.
Ken's infatuated with Fancy, or not Fancy.
Nina,
Oh, Jesus.
no, and I
He's
said that.
infatuated with
I
Nina.
wrote that. I was writing that in the chat. While I was going to work last night, I was like, why don't, not last night, the night before when Ken was in Morbids and he was talking about Nina like that. And I said, well, why did he ask her out? I mean, he asked, we saw that. Then why
Do you want to
ask
know
her
how I
out?
know? The video Nina posted where she kept doing the similarities to where Gypsy was copying her down to like the wig, the robe. Ken is in love with Nina.
Well, I don't know.
Probably the only woman he's in love
so
with,
much
but
as I don't know why they latch on the way that they did. I mean, Nina can hold her own, but
oh yeah,
they're creating things that they really should not be trying to create here.
Oh, I
They're
agree.
looking for trouble.
Gypsy
I
wouldn't be
agree.
trying to be Nina so bad if Ken didn't have some kind of likeness to her. And they wouldn't have such a hate for Nina because look at all these creators out here. You got you, Toddy. You have you, Ivory. You have you, Trixie. You got all of these, you know, Morbid, Case, Becca, all of them. Why Nina? Because Ken has a thing for Nina. It's obvious.
Ken
I mean,
wants-
I'm closer to, you know, I'm in their age group. So yeah, that's what's a going on there.
Well, I definitely think that that he got so mad at Nina, and I tried to figure out what the hell, what does he think she did? Like what I couldn't understand. You're absolutely right. I couldn't understand why it was vile. I mean, like it was pure hate. What did this woman do to you?
Because
Why so much? Why are you picking on Nina? Why are you? And I think it's not the racism thing with him.
no, it's
I
his
do
ego.
think that maybe he does. I mean, there's something about
It's his ego and rejection. Because if she rejected him, his ego is
that
bombed.
Well, she shouldn't have rejected him. He's a good-looking guy. What's wrong with her?
That and you know, yes, Nina is beautiful, absolutely. But they also know Nina is gonna make a video. And that's what they depend on. Because Nina's gonna clap back and she's gonna say, hey, look, this is my commentary, this is my take. You know, and they know viewers are gonna watch Nina because she's got a large following. And the
Is
second
that what you think it is? Because she has one of the
attention.
larger followings, that's why he's so upset with her, because she's got one of the larger followings?
Well, why wouldn't you? Because the more she talks, the more they get attention.
Right.
Exactly. That was the point I was trying to make.
Yeah. So if everybody stopped talking about Gypsy, just didn't do anything, let's say do it for a week, see what happens.
Oh, the baby would be posted online so quick.
Oh yeah, you would get so much information and feedback from them.
But I understand this is also some people's income, and I get why. And then of course there's some of us that just like to make fun of her.
Guys, I gotta drop down. Marty, thank you so much for having me up here. I
Oh, it was a pleasure, Ivory Rose. I'm so glad that we got the chance to meet.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Hi,
Ivory.
Ivory.
Bye, Ivory.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. Hey, guys. So, if anybody wants to come on, I'll put the thing up, because I'm only going to stay on for another, I got to leave at 8 because I got to start getting ready for work. Otherwise, it's like, uh-oh.
You work so hard, Toddy.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm joking.
Hey,
I don't have the hardest
this.
job in the world, but I show up for it.
You do a lot of work, and you're starting to do a lot of work. And I just want to say, as someone that's in full support of what you're doing, thank you so much.
Oh,
Really,
you're very
thank
welcome.
you.
Who's
And
thanking me?
too.
Marissa.
All of
Oh,
us.
okay. Oh, you're very, very welcome.
Thank you
Listen,
for taking the heat for April too, because that's going to be a mess. So
yeah,
you're really stepping up to the base there. Thank you.
yeah, but
Well,
you know,
what-
I feel supported because I just feel supported simply because everybody's singing the same songs. You know what I mean? So I'm putting videos out there, but everybody's putting videos out there. You know, like Trixie Lane's exposing her, Renell's exposing her. I mean, there's so many people cutting board. Dawn's exposing her. Everybody's like exposing her. So, you know, this unfortunately, this is what she did to herself. This is what she did to herself. She put herself in the crosshairs. She wants to be responsible for everything. Well, I'm going to hold you responsible for everything. That's okay.
But
Well,
she
there's
seems to have a certain hate for you, though, Toddy. What did you do that
that's
nobody
because
else did?
she spoke up and disagreed with her. That's it.
I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. What happened was I was in support of her, but I would get, us collaborating, and I kind of always pushed it off and said, we will. And because I always had like a red flag, but I bought into the narrative that happened in Chillicothe where she had to go to court for her rights to be able to for us to keep our rights as content creators. I bought into that. I'm stupid. And then I told people in my community, that I was going to donate some money and that I thought it would be a good idea, that this would be an important thing. If anybody could do it, they could do it. And then the next, like 2 days later or something, I guess April Johns needed money again. And she got on social media and was asking people, I guess, for money again. And then people, I guess, were asking her, well, what happened to the money that we just sent you? And then she got real nasty with the people. And somebody said to me, they sent me something saying, you wouldn't believe she did this, this, and this. And I watched it and I said to myself, how fucking dare you? These people just gave you money. Like, what's up with that?
That was the first video I ever seen of her.
Somebody's got the YouTube in the background or something. There's some sort of echo or something. Who's ever got that needs to just, who's ever got it in the background, Mike. But anyway, yeah, so that's what happened. And so then I called her out on that, and that was our falling out. She said she was disappointed in me.
Oh, like we weren't disappointed in her when she was yelling and screaming outside the car, begging people. It's not enough. It's not enough. How could you do that? Like, where are the faculty?
She's asking for money now for the book tour.
Oh, well, you know what? You wrote your book, sell your book so you can have your book tour money.
Who wants to meet you, April, so that you can yell at them in their face this time instead of through the screen?
Yeah.
Other unhinged people that are narcissists and don't mind it.
And the book don't even match what she's gunning for now. It makes it literally is embarrassing. How embarrassing it must be to be April Johns right now.
Yeah.
Well, she's claiming, listen, in her head, she's claiming, that she wrote 7 books. Now that really pisses me off as somebody that's actually sat in front of computer screens, fallen asleep in front. I could show you thousands because I follow through. So if I've completed something and it's, if it's 80 pages, trust me, at one point I went through a few hundred pages to get to those 80 pages, of drafts and redrafts. And so anyway, but Fancy, all she did was, let's pretend we're done with this. Okay, we're done. We've said goodnight and everything. And I go to a program on my computer and I download the audio. And then I have the audio turned into the written word and I hit the print button. That's what she's done. That is not writing a fucking book. That's an insult to people that write books.
Yes.
It's a transcript of dialogue that took place, and there's no work on your behalf in writing that book.
Yeah. Writing a book is it's not as simple as transcribing things. It's
not at all.
It's an art.
Not at
And
all.
Fancy,
I have 2 books. You can see
I
them.
know
They're-
you do. I checked them out after I watched your video this afternoon. I checked them out.
Well, you don't have to return them. It's not a library. But it
So-
pisses me off because it's kind of like, you know, when people struggle in a field to get somewhere and then you just take the shoe like Gypsy. You know, there's people that have so much to say. I see these really small channels that have maybe a couple hundred subscribers, you know, like Night Combos. Let's Night Combos had a couple hundred subscribers. I don't even think they had 1,000 when I started watching them. And I started watching and I would put their name up and put their channel up and stuff like that. And they had so much information. There's none of that when it comes to April. You know, Night Combos must have got their information from April Johns. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no, like these people have, first of all, they're looking at the case with fresh eyes. That's always a benefit. Always a benefit. Because, you know, you get sick of seeing the same thing over and over again. And so now they're looking at things with new eyes. And, you know, I think that stuff's really important. I lost my train of thought there, but
I think a lot of us came in watching April. I know I did. And I'm not even going to lie. I think I was watching the lives between her and Ryan Lee. And it got to a point where I was like, she's crazy, man. Like, what? Like, they put the in the freezer? How would they fit that woman in a damn freezer? It just started getting wild. And then Becca Scoops came out, and the world needed Becca.
oh, absolutely. 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 They absolutely we did. And you know what? Another thing she did was and I remember seeing the Ryan Lee and Fancy show about, and listen, I have nothing against Ryan Lee. I don't know anything really about Ryan Lee. I thought that Ryan Lee kind of calmed Fancy down originally. I really did, you know, and then of course they had that falling out. And anyway, but what they had done this scene where they're like pretending to stab Dee Dee, how it would have gone that night. Their theory. Did anybody see that? Where they're going 1,
That's
2.
disgusting.
It was crazy.
Did you see it?
Yes.
Okay.
I haven't
Okay.
seen it,
Okay.
but I've heard about
Okay.
it so many times.
Okay.
Oh my
To
goodness.
me, that just showed
It's poor
that
taste.
Nancy, oh my goodness.
I call
That
her that
April-
too sometimes. by accident.
That April Johns, this is going to be so hard. That she's out there. Like, she does not have one lick of sense that a normal person has. Nor does she have, I really don't think she has much of a heart.
I don't think
She doesn't.
can-
1980. If you can come on. I put the link up. If you can come on.
I could never imagine talking to my children or my husband the way she does.
No.
And this is basically more than in public because it's forever.
Yeah, it's there. Like, there's never a time when she's not, like, just being so rude and intolerable. Never a time. Unless she was on TikTok the other night. And who was it? I think it was Ivy Rose that was on. I'm not sure who was on, but they were battling. And Fancy actually let the battle go because the other person was winning, like, by a landslide. And she says, well, I don't like her anyways.
Was it Natasha Cooper?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
And
I was
Natasha
like, you know
Cooper
what?
wasn't saying anything the entire
She
time.
said
She was just sitting there, and Fancy's going crazy with her hands, like, come
Oh,
on,
yeah.
guys.
Yeah, she looked Italian there for a second.
She's like a dancing monkey. It's very entertaining to watch.
But she was so rude afterwards. So rude. And then she went on to another battle, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's her MO. This woman, in my opinion, is so angry that it just goes from everywhere. And, you know, I mean, I can't imagine like living and having to live with that. because she is from one extreme to another. And when she starts off her videos and she tries to talk really nice and she does that thing with her jaw and she's got that fake fucking filter on, it just all is bad. It's just all bad. You know what I mean?
There's never any reality in anything she does. Everything's so fake. And she comments about Gypsy Rose doing the same thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Becca Scoop said it perfectly. She's not a serious person. That's what Becca Scoop says. She says she's not a serious person.
Yeah.
You can't take her seriously. She's not a serious person.
That's why we needed you, Becca. The world needed you. Everybody coming to the story needed you. Because if not, everyone would have started with April Johns.
Well,
I think
I'm so
Mormon was
glad
fine.
because I didn't start with it here. You know, to be honest, what made me look, and I wasn't looking for April, but what made me find April was I got myself to, wow, I think there's more to this story than because this woman's lying, Gypsy. And I said, I'm starting to think that maybe there's something wrong with this. So I got there on my own. I didn't need April to get me there. But when I was looking for like-minded people, she was the loudest. Doesn't mean that she had the most to say. She was the loudest. But at that time, I think she did have more information, or at least the loudest information. But the thing is, we've all now she's had that information for years, almost a decade. How many years? Years. We've had this information for 8 months, 9 months.
Yeah, since she's been out for the most part.
Why is everybody beyond April now? What's up with that? Why is everybody past that?
Smarter. You know, Foya. She didn't know about Foya.
She didn't look into shit. She knew nothing. She knew that she could call herself a producer. And you know what? Had she have had follow through, she might have been able to do something. The fact she didn't have follow through she has too many people doing her job. And in the meantime, she's over their shoulder telling them what's right. Do it yourself.
She also wanting to play very dirty and sit on it and pull in Natasha Cooper and try to sell it.
Yeah, well, it's all about money to her. She says no, but I mean, I saw the video. I don't remember if it was 1980 or Trixie that was like, she says it's not about money, but it's always about money. Well, I hear
that's definitely 1980.
I hear millennial laughing. I was just saying, I hear millennial laughing in my head. That's a 1980 millennial.
Yeah, she covers the April Johns side.
Okay.
Becca
and I
even
get
asked
out of it.
Becca offered her money, and surprisingly, she didn't take it.
No, but she tried to make it look like Becca was an idiot.
Nope. She didn't take it because she wanted more money. Didn't you hear her say, well, it was worth more than that? It was worth more than that.
Oh,
I'm not stupid. It's worth more than that.
She thinks she's worth more than she is. Get a job.
She is disgusting when it comes
She's
to
on
money.
disability.
And then she had to make it look like it was something that it wasn't. She made Becca look like a villain in the process. She did. It look like what Becca was doing was just really shady.
She's jealous of Becca.
Exactly. People like that, they have to bring other people down so that they could lift up. They can't stand up next to somebody like Becca Scoops because they don't look at Becca's. Come on, that's your producer. You be honest, guys. Come on. I have never even been. Well, I've been to Hollywood. I've never been to Hollywood, California. I've been to Los Angeles one time. I got a niece that lives out there for a wedding. Look at my background. I mean, I'm in the same place usually all the time. It's either here or at work. You guys know, right? She is half the time sitting on her couch, not even like sitting up. Look at the videos that Becca Scoops puts out. They're polished. They're to the point. They're no drama. They're factual.
Nothing to do with the
they're produced. They're produced, Miss Producer. They're produced. And your videos aren't produced. You don't even have her videos aren't.
Low budget.
And the information isn't good anymore. The information was wrong to begin with. Hello, wrong to begin with. The wrong narrative made Dee Dee look horrible.
Yeah.
And everybody gets there. Everybody gets there before her. It was, I don't know whose narrative changed first. You know, I don't know whose narrative changed. Did her narrative change because the rest of us caught on to, wait a minute, this isn't Munchausen. Wait a minute. What happened? See what I'm saying? Like when you murky the water, you don't know shit. And she murkied this water like shit.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's why I say, you want to be called fancy? Own up to your shit. Help Nick out. Hand over your evidence of how you interfered and own up to it.
I think that's awesome.
Until then, you're called April Johns.
We dub thee April.
But I will say that I truly appreciate Becca Scoops' style, you know, Mitch's editing style on their videos, because, you know, I don't even compare, but I do try. I know my videos are boring, but I do try to cut straight to the point as much as possible too.
I don't think your videos are boring at all. I don't think that's true at all.
No, they're not.
I appreciate you. They blend together for me, so eventually they seem boring to me.
Yeah, no, they're not boring. They're not boring at all. You know, first of all, what I found, and there's times that I'm like, oh man, I have no audio, I have no video, I have no visuals for this video. But I say to myself, yeah, but what you're saying is really important, and people are smart. They're gonna get that, you know, because I think a lot of people, and I'm not trying to be rude to anybody, please no, because I'm going by what I do. I think a lot of people, like, they try to get as much information as they want. There's only so many hours in the day. Half the time they're listening to us at a top speed, and they're listening. And only when somebody says something like, so look at this, guys, do they turn around and finally look at the thing. Otherwise, I think they're doing things as they're listening, kind of like a radio, just on a faster speed. That's the way I think, but I don't know. Here's people saying here that, you know, God forbid this is the truth, but here we go.
Well, and that's why sometimes it's a good idea to go ahead and split them up into like certain parts, because people can only take in so much information at once.
Right. Absolutely. Alice down the rabbit hole, thank you for being a part. You could have jumped on here. I put the thing up. Anybody was welcome to jump on. Any guys, just so you know, when I put the link up, I mean, unless I'm really putting it up for somebody in particular, please know that, guys, you know, Jamie is a community member, not I don't want to say member per se, but part of the community, and she's been on here before. There's plenty of people. Some of these people I don't know. I've never met Marissa. I've never met Dragon Lady, but you guys are bringing so much to the channel, and that's what this is about. That's totally what this is about.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I've got somebody else down here that I never noticed. So sorry about that.
Yeah, well, Toddy, everybody, it was great talking to you tonight. Thank you for having me up. But I've got a real estate litigation case that I'm working on still, and I got to get back to it because I'm working overtime for it.
Okay, well, please, thank you for coming up, though. I really do appreciate it, and good luck with the real estate thing and everything. And thanks for everything you do, man.
Absolutely,
yeah, thank you.
I'll catch you guys tomorrow.
All right, we'll see you, and I'm gonna go to the mailbox. I'm going to the mailbox on Monday.
Oh, you're gonna love it, Toddy. You're gonna love it.
I know I will. I appreciate that.
No problem.
And I'll let you know as soon as I get it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. Good night.
Okay.
Toddy, I'm gonna go. It was nice talking to you, and a brilliant conversation. Thank you.
And I appreciate that, Dragon Lady. Anytime.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye. Hi, Shauna.
Hello? Hey, Toddy. I'm a big fan of yours. Like, I love you.
Oh, thank
I'm
you
really
so much.
nervous.
I appreciate that.
Nervous just talking to you. No, I just really wanted to say, because like my family thinks like I'm obsessed and crazy about it, but really it's not that. It's about the way that when I first heard about her case, like I did what I thought was right. I said, okay, give her a chance like everybody else. You know, everybody says, but Then when she got out acting the way she did and hearing everything we did, and then she's allowed to have a baby. Like, I had 3 kids taken from me because of my seizures, and that's all because I wasn't able. So the fact that she can get out of prison and have a baby, that does concern me, even when she showed no proof that she's done better. And like, I lived through, I was raped from the first 3 to 9. Okay.
Mhm.
So, like, when I say I've lived through traumatic stuff, and my mom was there and watched it the whole time. She was on drugs. She wasn't in her right mind. Does that make it right? Am I defending her? No.
Mhm.
However, at the end of the day, I promise you, I never wanted to take her life. I wanted to do things to make her happy, to make her love me more. So the like her narrative, like she did it to get away from abuse. That's not even how abused people do.
I would agree 100% with you. Because all we want is love from our parents, even when our parents treat us like shit. And there's so many pictures. This woman, this girl, this person, Gypsy, was not treated poor. I haven't seen a picture of her not smiling from ear to ear. So with her mom in her arms and all that stuff, and her mom couldn't catch her if she tried. There was
No,
the only
no.
abuse going on. I'm starting to think is maybe there was Munchausen by proxy, but maybe Dee Dee was the victim of it and Gypsy was the one that had the Munchausen.
Exactly. And that makes perfect sense. And as far as people saying, oh, whether she had a baby or not, really, that's not what matters to me. What matters to me is whatever she wants to believe in her brain. She's got the law and lawyers and everybody pushing for her. And I don't understand that. Like, everything I ever believed in, just like, I mean, I know it don't think it's irrelevant, or it's irrelevant to what we're talking about with Gypsy, but the whole thing with like our president getting a mugshot and being elected in the same year, drones and all this stuff that's happening has never happened before. This it's like the everything I thought we stood for and I believed in is not what I thought it was today. And that scares me, to be white, to be a woman, to be a minority in America today is almost everybody unless you're rich. But why is the rule different for her? Why is she allowed to have what I worked my whole life for? I was a nurse, an RN, and I lost my license because a baby died on my watch in the hospital. It was not my fault, but I was not able to contain myself. I was not able to separate my work from my emotion, and I had a seizure on the job. So that's how I lost my license. It wasn't nothing to do with anything I had done wrong,
Mhm.
but it seemed like my whole life I was a victim of circumstance, and I tried. So it's like I don't understand why everybody gives her a pass unless they do what she wants. And the thought of putting a baby that can't talk or cry out, like, who's going to take responsibility for that when she hurts that baby?
Well, God, I'm praying she doesn't hurt that baby, and
I
obviously,
do too. I really
I'm,
do.
I'm praying that you know, I'm really hopeful that CPS made a presence, at least letting her know that they're going to keep her on the radar because of her crime. And
Right,
the baby belongs to somebody besides her. So I gotta believe that the parent of that child, besides Gypsy,
right.
um, you know, that's what I'm hoping and praying for. As far as I have my own feelings about what's going on in this country. This isn't the platform that I can talk
No,
about it
no, and
on
that's not what I'm
because
saying. I'm saying it's weird.
I feel you and I understand. But to be more specific, we are trying to figure out why Gypsy has gotten away with so much on parole. Now, she got off on the charge she got because of a political matter, because from my understanding, one of the key players was looking for reelection. Gypsy with a high pitched voice, everybody knowing her from being in a wheelchair, and then her lawyer claiming Munchausen by proxy. How are you going to do that and get elected? Look at this girl. So I think that there was
Right.
maybe some political blackmail there. Why
Back then,
everybody else
yes.
why everybody else is on this is on the Gypsy train, I would think, well, we already know that Mike Stanfield has absolutely no scruples, because though it's his job to make sure she has a fair trial, it's not his job to give her a fake alibi and to ruin her
And to
mom's.
stay with her. How many lawyers stay with their client all
Yeah,
the
yeah,
way
yeah.
through
So, and,
president
and that's
trial?
and that's about, money. I think that that's totally about money. You know, um, so it's very unfair. Listening to your story and taking it at its word that you got treated so unfairly for doing the right thing, and how it affects you, and how somebody like Gypsy, who just did the wrong thing, worse than the wrong thing, obviously, like the most heinous act. Like, how do you unalive your mom when there's only been pictures of how good
Yeah.
and happy you were, and you never told anybody about your mom being
And you
abusive to
can't get
you?
better if you don't admit you have a problem. And
She's
she
not
refuses to
right.
admit she has a
She's
problem.
not, because she's evil to the core. There is no getting better for her. There is no getting better for her. That's not. I believe that there are people you cannot help. I've been in that field. I know
Like
that there are people you cannot help,
evil's
and
already taken over.
Gypsy is one of those people. But I don't know if they. I don't know if, because of the political blackmail or whatever was going on, if there was something else that came up.
Definitely.
It seems like there's something that we're not seeing behind the scenes that
A
I can't
lot.
grasp right now, but I
Right.
don't know why she's treated the way she is, because I know for a fact that people have written and said, why, ask the same question, why is she this, and why, and it's gotten to the people that could do something about it, and I don't know why, Shauna, that they're not doing anything about it.
It's really sad. And I really hope nobody else gets hurt. Like, my grandmother was a Pentecostal preacher, so I pray for that family religiously. It's not, I don't have nothing against her. I pray for everybody. I just
I
don't.
got something against her. She unalived her mom, and she's killing her
That
mom's
part.
legacy. Like, that's not enough. You unalived your
That's
mom.
not. That's
You
bad.
gotta
At least
kill
you
her
could do is
her legacy. That woman, that's horrible. I mean, so in
that's
other
sad.
words, your daughter is gonna think that the woman that did the best she could by you was some sort of psychopath monster. Like, that's really what your mom deserves. Like, I don't understand how she goes to bed at
No,
night. I don't, because see, you can't fix that. You can't, if you don't have
no,
a conscience,
no.
you can't be taught how to feel bad. You know what I mean?
And I'm with you. I believe wholeheartedly now, listening to only her story, change like it does. I'm not listening to any YouTuber, any content creator, anything. I'm listening to solely my ears, her words. And I honestly believe that she did that before he got there. And I believe that. I believe that.
Yeah, I believe that happened too. But I am gonna have to go, because I do have to get ready to
I
go to
love
work.
you. I
I
love
thank you.
you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And you brought a lot of insight, and I think a lot of people feel the same way that you feel, frustrated in a system that isn't working. You
Hmm.
know,
Well, don't tell me we live in a free and fair country. We don't.
I'm sorry,
Thank you,
Renell.
somebody.
Oh, you're very welcome. Renell,
I
you're
love you.
great. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Renell, I'm getting ready to go. I got to go to work. So,
All right.
Renell in the chat a day late, but we plugged that video that you got out there, Renell.
I
We
just
plugged
wanted
that
to
video.
thank you for having me, Toddy,
Marissa, it
and
was a pleasure.
tell the chat to tell everybody, tell Fancy, tell April, own your shit.
There you
Hashtag
go.
Fancy, own your shit.
Own your
That's our
shit.
justice for Nick. That is a very good way to go with that as well. And
I
thank you,
agree.
Toddy. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was a pleasure meeting you. I mean that.
You too. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Take care of yourself. All right, guys. So, Renell, I was just talking about the video that you put up today. And everybody should check that out. Underrated channel, Renell Smith. Renell's World. Renell's World. Renell's World. But I do have to get ready to go to work, guys. So I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for, staying with me tonight. And I thought it was a great, impromptu even though, I mean, I was expected on. I loved that we got the panel that we got. You know, I never met Case. I never met Ivory Rose. I kept messing up her name previously. Marissa, Shauna, Trixie. Oh God, who was the other lady that was on here? That's why I don't like mentioning people's names. All of you guys. I am working on I know I've said this before. I'm having a little bit of time with the just so you know, I'm having a little bit of time with the merch, but I know somebody locally now, and I'm supposed to do a Zoom with them on Monday. And I'm excited about it. As a younger person, she just got on the channel because she was checking out, you know, what I do and stuff so that she could get the vibe, even though she knows me a little bit outside. So I'm excited about that. But yes, please, Renell's World. And yeah, guys, so I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to say thank you so much. Marissa, it was an absolute pleasure having you. Absolutely. All of you guys. And there was another person, I forgot her name. And if anybody finds out who that Jessica is that was in the Breeze thing that she got yelled at like that, ask her if she could please just reach out to me, email me at toddy1skip@gmail.com and just put, you know, Jessica in the subject, because I would love to know who she was. So, all right, guys. What do we say? Be better today than you were yesterday. Not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. And I hope that I'll have my first video out about debunking Fancy. I'll have it out. It should be out in the morning. So it'll be your morning present. All right, guys. I appreciate all of you. I thank you so much. You have built this community. I am one person. This is our community. So I thank you so much. And I'm humbled by you. So I appreciate you guys. Take care. Please. Thank you guys. Bye.